Chapter 617. Qingsang. How about today? Su Qingsang nodded as she spoke, her expression quite serious. How about today? It's rare that we're both free. The more she said, the more outrageous she sounded. Hua Jinyao pulled Su Qingsang's hand away. And while she was still talking, he turned over and pressed her under his body. Hua Jinyao. How could Su Qingsang be a match for him? In an instant she was pinned under his body. The sofa was very spacious. Su Qingsang was lying on her back, and there was still a lot of space. Are you excited? Hua Jinyao squinted at her. There was a hidden danger in his eyes. Why am I the one who's excited? Aren't I fulfilling your wish? Su Qingsang put a hand on his chest and looked at his face. Shouldn't you be grateful to me? Su Qingsang wasn't going to work, nor did she plan to go out. She was wearing a set of home clothes. Because of the action of lying down, her snow-white collarbone was exposed to the air. Hua Jinyao's Adam's apple moved up and down a few times. Thank you? Aha! Su Qingsang didn't realize the danger and nodded. Yes, I should be grateful to you. As he spoke, he lowered his head and kissed Su Qingsang's lips. Her eyes widened as she stared at his enlarged face. Woo-woo, you broke the rules. Hua Jinyao had a faint smile on his face, but his big hands were moving unceremoniously on Su Qingsang's body. Su Qingsang's breathing quickened. She hadn't finished settling the score with him yet. This person was finally Hua Jinyao slightly moved away from her. She gritted her teeth. Hua Jinyao, you broke the rules. I'm thanking you. As Hua Jinyao spoke, his hand had already reached under the hem of her dress. Thank you with your body. You. Su Qingsang's voice was blocked by him again. She couldn't say the rest of her sentence. The following content has been censored for 5,000 words. For those in need, please follow the instructions at the bottom of this article. Su Qingsang lay on the bed motionless. The living room was in chaos. She wanted to get up and clean up, but she didn't have any strength left in her. Looking at the time, it had been almost 2 hours since she finished eating in the morning. She then looked at Hua Jinyao. He looked refreshed, as if he hadn't been affected by the strenuous exercise. She gritted her teeth, feeling that it was extremely unfair. Speaking of which, he was the one who put in more effort. But why was he the one who was more tired? She turned over, but felt that such a simple movement made her waist ache. She couldn't help but glare at Hua Jinyao. He had already come out of the bathroom. His hair was slightly damp, and he was full of energy. He didn't seem to be affected at all. Tired? Hua Jinyao sat down by the bed. Su Qingsang rolled her eyes and ignored him. Seeing that he was about to kiss her again, she quickly put her hands in front of his chest. Don't come. She would definitely die in his hands if he tried again. Hua Jinyao kissed her on the lips. All right. Rest for a while. I'll have someone send lunch over. Auntie, you didn't come over to cook at noon. They usually didn't come over on Saturdays. After all, they went to the Hua family's old mansion most of the time. Su Qingsang blinked, as if she had thought of something. She immediately remembered. However, her waist ached and she fell back. Hua Jinyao held her body. Honey, what are you doing? The sofa outside is so messy. Don't you want to clean it up? Su Qingsang was anxious. If someone came over later and saw it, it would be really embarrassing. Hua Jinyao was stunned for a moment. Messy? You. Su Qingsang poked his chest, and there was a hint of anger on her face. Go clean it up. Honey, just ask Auntie Yu to do it. No way. She didn't want Auntie Yu to know that they were messing around in the living room outside. It would be so embarrassing. Are you going or not? I'll go if you don't. Do you still have strength? It wasn't that he looked down on her, but she looked like she was half dead. How could she have the strength to clean it up? Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang was furious. Who caused her to have no strength? She hadn't finished settling the score with him just now. Who caused me to have no strength? Hua Jinyao looked a little embarrassed and didn't say anything. Su Qingsang poked him in the chest. Who made me like this? Who ignored her begging and wanted to do it again? Once wasn't enough. Why did he have to do it again? He could do it again, but he had to do it in such an unbelievable position. How could she not be tired? It was me. You still know it was you. Su Qingsang grabbed his hand and twisted it hard, but found that she couldn't twist it. Instead, her hand hurt, so she had to withdraw her hand. Aren't you thinking about that ex-girlfriend of yours? You can go torment her. Hua Jingyao twitched his nose and moved closer to Su Qingseng. There was a hint of teasing in his eyes. Do you smell a strong sour smell? No. No. Hua Jingyao moved closer to her face again. I smell it. It's so sour. This room is going to be flooded with vinegar. Is that so? Su Qingseng pushed his face to the side. Since the room is going to be flooded, why don't you move to another place? For example, your good classmate's ex-girlfriend's villa? There won't be such a sour smell there, right? I was wrong. Hua Jingyao surrendered. He leaned over and kissed Su Qingseng on the cheek. Wife, I was wrong. Seeing that Su Qingseng turned her face away and ignored him, he reached out and turned her face back. Wife, you know that there's really nothing between Qi Shiwei and me. There's nothing going on. I don't know. I don't follow you every day. How would I know what's going on between the two of you when I'm not around, or when I don't see it? Right? Su Qingseng was unmoved. Hua Jingyao leaned over and kissed her lips again. Ever since I married you, other women have been air in my eyes. Su Qingseng avoided his kiss. She had originally wanted to settle the score with him, but now she was being tormented by him. She was a little annoyed. Yes, it's air. The air that I can hold in my arms. Wife. Hua Jingyao hugged her body in his arms again and pressed his forehead against hers. Wife, I was wrong this time. I'll definitely stay away from her next time. No matter what happens to her, I won't help her. I'll let others help her. Is that okay? Screw you. Even he didn't believe what he said. She wasn't such a petty person. I didn't stop you from helping her. If you want to help her, then help her. Otherwise, I'll be the villain. My wife is so kind. How can she be a villain? Even if she's a villain, she's the most beautiful villain in the world. Sweet talk. Sweet words are also for you alone. Wife. Don't call me that. Su Qingseng's voice was a little hoarse. Speaking of which, she had originally wanted to settle the score with him. How did it turn into rolling in the sheets? Go, go, go. Su Qingseng pushed him away. I want to rest. Go clean up the living room. Seeing that he didn't move, she glared at him. If you don't go clean up, I'll let you sleep on the sofa tonight. You don't have to be so ruthless, do you? Ruthless? Then you'll sleep for a month. Wife. Speaking of which, that's a good idea. Su Qingseng nodded repeatedly as she spoke. If you hug another woman in the future, I'll let you sleep on the sofa. Hug once, sleep for a month. Hua Jinyao's face fell. Wife. Are you serious? Quite serious. So Mr. Hua, can you go clean up outside now? Go. I'll go right away. Hua Jinyao stood up and bitterly went to clean up the living room. Su Qingseng looked at his back and suddenly smiled. Thinking about how Hua Jinyao would clean up the room, she kind of wanted to see him. But forget it. There would always be a chance next time. Su Qingseng yawned and turned over. She was a little sleepy, so she went back to sleep. Su Qingseng had to go to work the next day. When she got up in the morning, Hua Jinyao followed her. I'll drive you. He was the one who picked her up yesterday. She didn't drive back. Su Qingseng didn't object. She was much more energetic after a night's rest. After getting into Hua Jinyao's car, she suddenly leaned over to look at Hua Jinyao when she fastened her seat belt. Will you take me to the hospital and visit Qi Shiwei on the way? Wife. For the first time, Hua Jinyao realized that Su Qingseng could be so petty. It's okay. Go ahead. I don't object. In fact, I'm going to visit her later too. Su Qingseng was indeed jealous yesterday, and she was indeed a little uncomfortable. However, after calming down, she wouldn't really take it to heart. With Qi Shiwei's appearance, it was normal for Hua Jinyao to visit her. It was understandable. Wife. Hua Jinyao stopped starting the car and looked at her warily. Don't tell me you're going to let me sleep on the sofa the moment I visit her? When he met Su Qingseng's gaze, Hua Jinyao was the first to lower his head. Wife, I was wrong. All right. Su Qingseng couldn't help but want to roll her eyes at him. For the past 2 days, he had been saying that he was wrong again and again. Those who didn't know better would think that she was very powerful. In fact, he was just apologizing verbally. In his heart, he might not even think that he was wrong. I'm not such a petty person. She's indeed in a special situation right now. It's only right for you to visit her. Su Qingsang's expression was very serious. There was no hint of reluctance or unhappiness. Hua Jingyao knew that she was just joking and reached out to rub her hair. My wife is indeed the best. Flattery didn't work. Su Qingsang glanced at him, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. All right, drive your car, Wang Yao said. The two of them went to the hospital together. Su Qingsang first went to the office to change into a white coat. She had to go on ward rounds later anyway, so she wasn't in a hurry to see Qi Shiwei. After Hua Jingyao greeted her, he went to the ward to see Qi Shiwei. Perhaps it was because she had completely vented her emotions yesterday. Qi Shiwei's complexion today was much better than yesterday. When she saw Hua Jingyao coming, she even glanced behind him. Where's Qingsang? She's at work. She'll come over later. Qi Shiwei smiled. Sorry for the trouble. Hua Jingyao shook his head and looked at the ward. Xiao Jiang wasn't there. The two bodyguards he had hired were very responsible to guard outside. Where's Xiao Jiang? She went to prepare breakfast for me. I originally said that I was going to the cafeteria to eat. She insisted that it wasn't nutritious and went home to make soup for me. It's my fault. Hua Jingyao had never taken care of a pregnant woman before, so he didn't know. I'll get someone to arrange for you to deliver food later. No need. Qi Shiwei shook her head. You've already taken good care of me. There's nothing wrong with me eating in the cafeteria. Hua Jingyao didn't argue with her. In any case, he would just ask Yang Wenchang to arrange for her later. Qi Shiwei knew that Hua Jingyao was a man of his word, so she didn't want to argue with him. Jingyao, it's good that you're here today. I have something to ask of you. What? Help me take care of that poor child's funeral. Qi Shiwei thought of that poor child and smiled bitterly. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have troubled you with such a thing. But my health is very poor now. It's very difficult for me to even go to the bathroom. Seeing the worry in Hua Jinyao's eyes, the corners of her mouth twitched. Don't look at me like that. I'm really fine. I'm just too weak. Qingsang should be aware of my situation. I just need to rest well and get my body well. Hua Jingyao frowned slightly, and his expression looked very serious. I don't mind. Leave this matter to me. I'll help you take care of it. Thank you, Jingyao. Although Qi Shiwei's voice sounded weak, the expression on her face and her entire body were strong. Although I don't want to trouble you after I return to the country, but I always seem to cause you trouble. The reason why she had handed the plan to Su Peijian was because she didn't want Hua Jingyao to see her pale, weak, and haggard appearance. Who knew that after going around in circles he would still find out. She had troubled him so much again. We're friends. You're treating me like an outsider. Qi Shiwei nodded and didn't decline. I'm very relieved to leave this matter to you. I only have one request. My mother is buried in the West Mountain Cemetery. Let the poor child be the companion of my mother, if you please. After returning, she went to see her mother once, and didn't mention anything about Lian Jin. She didn't want her mother to be in peace in heaven. Okay. Hua Jingyao was a man of action. In addition, today was Sunday. He called Yang Wenchang and asked him to make arrangements for the crematorium and the cemetery. These weren't too difficult. With money they could do it right away. After contacting him, Yang Wenchang was also on his way. A car came from the crematorium and sent the child there. However, when Hua Jingyao went to the morgue, he was told that the child was gone. Hua Jingyao was very surprised. The child was still there yesterday. He didn't go to Qi Shiwei to tell her about this first. Instead, he went to Su Qingsang. What did you say? The child is gone? How was that possible? Yes. Hua Jingyao didn't understand what went wrong. Su Qingsang glanced at him. They were in the hospital. In a place like the morgue, there would be strange legends from time to time, but she had never heard of a corpse being lost. Wait a minute. I'll go with you to take a look. Today was Sunday, and there was only one doctor on duty. That doctor's surname was Gu. Su Qingsang asked for a long time, but Dr. Gu only said that he didn't see it. This was too strange. This morgue wasn't anywhere else. How could a baby's body disappear just like that? Dr. Su, I only started work this morning. If you want to know, why don't you ask Dr. Xie, who was on duty before? Or go check the surveillance cameras. Su Qingsang and Hu Jinyao looked at each other and saw their own guesses in each other's eyes. To confirm it, Su Qingsang went to the security office again. She pulled out the surveillance video. Sure enough, they saw it through the surveillance video. Early this morning, before the hospital started working, Lian Jin first went to the ward to visit Qi Shiwei. Qi Shiwei was sleeping at that time. After that, Lian Jin went to the medical administration division. In the end, he went to the morgue and took the child away. The doctor on duty in the morning wasn't Dr. Gu, but Dr. Xia, so Dr. Gu didn't know either. When Su Qingsang saw this, she took out her phone and pulled up the contact list of all the doctors in the hospital. She called Dr. Xia. Dr. Xia had an impression of this matter. After all, there weren't many people who came to claim a corpse early in the morning, let alone the corpse of a baby who had died young. Dr. Su, that child was taken away by that gentleman in my hands. However, he had the procedures. He said that he was the child's father. He also showed us the relevant documents. Su Qingsang hung up the phone and glanced at Hu Jinyao. Qi Shiwei and Lian Jin's relationship as husband and wife hadn't been dissolved. Lian Jin was still Qi Shiwei's husband and the child's father. If he wanted to take the child away, Qi Shiwei couldn't do anything about it. Is he crazy? Su Qingsang couldn't understand for a moment. The child was already dead. What did Lian Jin want to do? Hu Jinyao didn't say anything. He glanced at Su Qingsang. Su Qingsang thought of Qi Shiwei's pale face. How do you think we should tell her about this? Hu Jinyao also had a headache. I'll find Lian Jin first. Is it useful? He might not hand over the child at all. What do you think he wants to do by taking the child away? To be honest, even though Su Qingsang had seen all kinds of strange things in the hospital, this situation still made her hair stand on end. After all, it wasn't a living child. It was already dead. What was Lian Jin trying to do? I don't know. Hu Jinyao actually vaguely understood, but he wasn't sure yet. Don't tell Qi Shiwei about this for now. Su Qingsang's words made Hu Jinyao frown. She'll find out sooner or later. Of course she'll find out. But her body is so weak now. If she finds out that Lian Jin took her child away, I don't know what she'll do. If she's too agitated or her emotions fluctuate too much, it won't be good for her body's recovery. Su Qingsang didn't mean to lie to Qi Shiwei. However, she could hide it kindly. Use this time to find Lian Jin and ask him to hand over the child. Hu Jinyao thought about it and didn't object. Su Qingsang's words made sense. Qi Shiwei's current condition wasn't good. Let her rest well. It's best if I can find him. What if I can't? What if he found Lian Jin and he refused to hand over the child? Legally speaking, he did have the right to dispose of the child's body and make arrangements for the child's funeral. Then we'll talk about it after this month. One had to know that Qi Shiwei hadn't had her stitches removed yet. Even if the stitches were removed, she would have to do at least a full month of confinement. If there's anything else, we'll talk about it after she's out of confinement. Okay. Hu Jinyao nodded. He looked at Su Qingsang and suddenly reached out to hug her. Wife, thank you. Don't thank me. I'm just doing my duty as a doctor. It's not because of you. Su Qingsang's words made Hu Jinyao laugh. He rubbed her hair with a doting expression. Yes. You're a good doctor. She was also a good wife. As expected, Hu Jinyao didn't tell Qi Shiwei about the baby. When he went to the hospital to see her the next day, he only said that he had taken care of the matter. Meanwhile, he tried to contact Lian Jin to ask him what he wanted to do. Hu Jinyao searched for a few days, but he couldn't find Lian Jin. This was really strange. There was actually someone he couldn't find. He kept this matter a secret. Qi Shiwei didn't know anything about it. The child she thought had been properly buried had already been taken away by Lian Jin. A week later, the sutures on Qi Shiwei's wound were removed. He could go back to his home and rest. Originally, Hu Jinyao had arranged a confinement center for her. But now that there were no children to take care of, he sent her back to the villa. He and Su Qingsang sent it together. Hu Jinyao didn't dare to send Qi Shiwei off alone. It didn't matter if he was here to see Qi Shiwei, or if he had something to tell her. They all dragged Su Qingsang to the scene. Su Qingsang couldn't help but laugh at the way he looked at her. She knew that he was expressing his goodwill to her, and that there was nothing between him and Qi Shiwei. Even if he didn't do that, Su Qingseng wouldn't really be angry or do anything to him. After sending Qi Shiwei back to the villa, he asked Xiao Jiang and another new cook to take good care of Qi Shiwei. Hua Jingyao and Su Qingseng stood up and said goodbye. Unexpectedly, when he was about to leave, Qi Shiwei suddenly called out to him. Jingyao, take me to see that child sometime. Hua Jingyao was stunned for a moment and glanced at Su Qingseng. Su Qingseng received his gaze and turned to face Qi Shiwei. Shiwei, you're not out of confinement yet. You can see the child anytime you want. When you're out of confinement, you can see him again. Okay. After resting for a few days, Qi Shiwei's face finally wasn't as pale as before. I just want to see him. In fact, with my mother accompanying him, I believe he'll be fine. People were very strange. When there was nothing else to do, they might not necessarily believe in ghosts and gods. However, when a family member passed away, they wished that ghosts and gods really existed in this world. At least, that was a form of psychological comfort. After coming out of Qi Shiwei's villa, Su Qingseng glanced behind her. You haven't found Lian Jin yet? No. Hua Jingyao had a headache. He knows how to hide. Lian Jin was actually also from Rong City. He was very familiar with Rong City. In such a big city with a population of more than 20 million, it wasn't difficult to hide. Hide? Su Qingseng seemed to have thought of something. Do you think it's possible that he's not hiding? If he wasn't hiding, then why couldn't he be found? Chapter 618. No matter how much Lian Jin and Qi Shiwei didn't get along, that was still his own child, right? He might not have taken the child away because he had any dirty intentions. Previously, Hua Jingyao and Su Qingseng had both thought that perhaps Lian Jin wanted to keep the child so that he could threaten Qi Shiwei. It wasn't impossible, but now a week had passed. If he really wanted to threaten Qi Shiwei, or if he still wanted to use the child to hurt Qi Shiwei, there were clearly plenty of opportunities. If he didn't do so, didn't it mean that he might have gone to deal with the child's funeral himself? It wasn't that Hua Jingyao hadn't thought of this possibility before. However, there are only a few cemeteries in Rong City. If that's the case, there's no reason why I can't find him. Then what if he didn't bury the child in the cemetery at all? Before Rong City was reformed, it was also the oldest burial ground. There were only a few mountains around Rong City, and there were also cemeteries of all sizes. Some of them were even cemeteries with excellent feng shui that had long been circled by some aristocratic families. Lian Jin was from Rong City, so his family might also have such a situation. If that was the case, then he might have already buried the child. Hua Jingyao narrowed his eyes. He was only thinking about the cemetery, but he didn't think about the mountain grave. However, he touched his chin, and there was a hint of doubt in his tone. Why do I feel that he doesn't seem like someone who would do such a good thing? Not necessarily. Su Qingseng was a doctor, so she was more inclined to think of people in the best possible light. No matter what, he's the child's father. It's understandable that he would do his best for the child, right? Hua Jingyao didn't say anything. Looking at the seriousness in Su Qingseng's eyes, he suddenly leaned over and kissed her on the forehead. All right. I'll ask Yang Wenchang to check the mountain graves in Rong City. It was true that Rong City was very big, but it wasn't every day that a funeral happened, especially for such a young child. It would probably be found out with a simple check. Su Qingseng nodded and followed Hua Jingyao to the parking lot, but she suddenly stopped. Hua Jingyao? Yes. If that's really the case, I'm afraid Qi Shiwei will take it to heart again, right? She wanted to bury the child beside her mother, but Lian Jin had disposed of the child in private. If they were really buried in some mountain grave, Qi Shiwei would definitely not agree to it. By then the child would already be buried. If Qi Shiwei was unwilling, they would make another fuss. Why did she feel that Qi Shiwei and Lian Jin's relationship was even more difficult to sever? Naturally, Hua Jingyao could also think of what she could think of. Thinking of Lian Jin sending Su Qingseng to prison, his expression was uneasy. He really has a good plan. Lian Jin secretly took the child away with this thought in mind. There was probably another layer. He wanted Qi Shiwei to take the initiative to lower her head? Unfortunately, he underestimated Qi Shiwei's stubbornness. He was afraid that she would not compromise easily. When he met Su Qingsang's clear eyes, he cleared his throat. However, that naturally has nothing to do with us. Let them be. Su Qingsang smiled faintly and pinched Hu Jinyao's hand. I'm not against you helping Qi Shiwei. She's your classmate. She's helped you time and time again, and she saved your life. If she's in trouble, it's human nature for you to help her. It's also a sign of friendship. However, I don't approve of you interfering in the matter between Qi Shiwei and her husband. Qingsang, no matter how much Qi Shiwei and Lian Jin argue, they are still husband and wife. It doesn't matter if they quarrel or hate each other. It's their own business. As bystanders, it's better for us not to interfere. Hu Jinyao pursed his lips into a straight line. Naturally, he wouldn't interfere in the matter between Qi Shiwei and her husband. However, he didn't like Lian Jin, so it was fine for him to play some tricks on him. Blinking, he opened the car door for Su Qingsang. All right, wife, don't worry. I'll listen to you. Su Qingsang turned her face to look at him. Suddenly, she moved her face closer and met his eyes. Why don't I believe you? Wife. Hu Jinyao covered his heart with one hand. I'm so sad that you think of me like that. Do you think I'm the kind of person who meddles in other people's business? Indeed not. He was just a little petty. He would repay those who had schemed against him. Su Qingsang didn't dare to say the last sentence. Seeing that Hu Jinyao was still clutching his heart, she couldn't help but laugh. She went forward and wrapped her arms around his neck. Alright, I was wrong, okay? My Mr. Hua is the most aloof. He doesn't like to meddle in other people's business, and he's the most magnanimous. Is that okay? Tisk, wife. If you praise me like that, you might as well not praise me at all. Hu Jinyao put his arm around her waist. He leaned over and kissed her on the lips. You're so reluctant to praise me. Wouldn't you rather not praise me? Why would I be reluctant? In my heart, my dear husband is wise and mighty. I'm very willing. Hearing that, Hu Jinyao moved his lips to her ear and said, If you're willing, how about we do it tonight? As he spoke, he actually bit her earlobe gently. Su Qingsang's face heated up. She looked around. Fortunately, there was no one nearby. Otherwise, she would be really embarrassed. Hu Jinyao smiled and leaned over to bite her again. I'm kissing my own wife. What's there to be afraid of? This person had really become more and more improper recently. Su Qingsang wanted to laugh at him, but when she thought that she was the one who made him unable to control himself, she felt relieved. The corners of her lips curled up slightly, revealing a faint smile. Lian Jin hadn't been found yet. Hu Jinyao took this matter to heart and asked Yang Wenchang to send people to look for him. However, a few days had passed but there was still no news. It was as if Lian Jin had disappeared from this world. Hu Jinyao didn't believe that he would let it go just like that. If he really didn't pester her anymore, it would be a good thing for Qi Shiwei. However, he was afraid that he would take away the baby and have some bad tricks up his sleeves. If that was the case, he would have to guard against it for Qi Shiwei. Although he had promised Su Qingsang that he would not interfere in their business, he would not allow anyone to bully his savior. Yang Wenchang knocked on the door when Hu Jinyao finished a video conference with the overseas company. When Hu Jinyao saw him, he thought that he was going to talk about Lian Jin's whereabouts. Unexpectedly, Yang Wenchang stood to the side, but Lu Tongjia was standing behind him. Seeing that it was her, Hu Jinyao's expression didn't change. Thinking of what Lu Tongjia had said in the hospital, he still stood up. Yang Wenchang brought the person and left. The office door closed and Lu Tongjia walked in. She seemed a little embarrassed. Hu Jinyao was a little surprised to see her standing there without moving. Lu Tongjia seemed to be getting more and more careful in front of him recently. Mom, what's the matter? These words were spoken calmly, and there was no hint of disgust. Lu Tongjia's heart was pierced again. She was Hu Jinyao's mother. Did she have to have a reason to visit her son? Nothing much. Why did she come to the company for no reason? Hu Jinyao raised his eyebrows and thought of something he heard yesterday. Uncle and aunt seemed to have gone to the prison to see Hu Yifan yesterday, and then they went to the old mansion to see grandpa, right? Although Grandpa had said that he wouldn't interfere with him taking over the company, and had even made a will in advance. What he meant was that most of the shares under his name were going to be given to him. However, Grandpa was also a person who cared about family. If Uncle and Aunt couldn't stand it and pitied their son, they would beg Grandpa. Grandpa would definitely soften his heart again. Lu Tongjia looked at Hu Jingyao in astonishment. You got someone to follow them? It's not really following them. I just got someone to keep an eye on them. Hu Jingyao's voice was indifferent. He signed the document in his hand and put it aside. They've tried to make things difficult for me time and time again. I have to take precautions and strike first, right? What he said was right. Lu Tongjia still didn't think that she was wrong. However, she wasn't here to say that today. Are you free tomorrow? Tomorrow? What's the matter? No. It's just that your grandfather said that you haven't been back to the old mansion for dinner for a long time. Recently, because he was busy with Qi Shiwei's matter, Hu Jingyao hadn't been back to the old mansion for a while. However, tomorrow wasn't a weekend. For his grandfather to say that, it might not mean that he really wanted to see him. Hu Jingyao looked at his schedule. Other than special circumstances, his daily work had already been arranged. I'm not free. He had an appointment with the company tomorrow night. In the evening, Su Qingsang said that she wasn't on duty, and that there was a new movie that she wanted to watch. He had already promised Su Qingsang, so naturally, he wouldn't go back on his word. Speaking of which, there was a home theater at home. With his status, if he wanted a new movie, he could just ask someone and send it over. However, Su Qingsang liked to go to the cinema to watch movies. She said that she liked that feeling even more. In the past few days, perhaps because of Qi Shiwei's matter, he and Su Qingsang had been a little more intimate and casual. This was a very rare experience. He didn't get tired of interacting with a woman. Instead, every day, he wanted to get closer to her more and more. The more he interacted with Su Qingsang, the more he found her shining points, and the more he loved her. She was cold but not cold. She was smart but not stiff. She was kind but not blind. Other than occasionally attending his childhood gatherings, the two of them stayed at home and were busy with their own things. Occasionally, they went out on dates, just like lovers nowadays. This feeling was very subtle. The smile on his face was very shallow and fleeting, but it didn't escape Lu Tongjia's eyes. Judging from his expression, he must have thought of Su Qingsang. However, he sent Lu Tongjia away with 2 cold words. She sat there and felt her entire body turn cold. Is there anything else? Hu Jingyao took Lu Tongjia's soft words that day as a momentary lapse in judgment. Lu Tongjia didn't say anything. She stood up and walked out in a daze. In fact, tomorrow was her birthday. She hoped that if possible, Hu Jingyao would come to celebrate her birthday. All these years, because she didn't like Hu Jingyao, and because she hadn't recovered from the shock of losing a son and a daughter, she hadn't been able to celebrate her birthday for more than 10 years. However, Hu Jingyao didn't know that it was her birthday, and he didn't plan to celebrate it with her. He even rejected her with such a cold attitude. Lu Tongjia was filled with sadness. What she cared about now wasn't her birthday. She only cared that her relationship with Hu Jingyao seemed to be irreparable. Hu Jingyao picked up the documents beside him. Occasionally, he would look over from the corner of his eye and see Lu Tongjia's lonely back. His brows furrowed slightly again. What's wrong? Su Qingsang looked at Hu Jingyao and found that he was a little absent-minded. The two of them had just finished eating, and Su Qingsang was organizing the papers on her laptop. Hu Jingyao sat on the other side and took care of some work on his laptop. After organizing the papers and saving them, she found that Hu Jingyao seemed to be in a daze as he stared at the screen. She leaned in front of him, but he didn't react at all. She raised her hand and waved it in front of him. Hu Jingyao finally came back to his senses. I'm fine. He just suddenly thought of Lu Tongjia's appearance today. You don't look like you're fine. Su Qingsang looked at him, and her first reaction was to think of Qi Shiwei. Could it be that Qi Shiwei found out that Lian Jin took the child away? Hu Jingyao shook his head and looked at Su Qingsang. In the end, he casually mentioned that Lu Tongjia had come to look for him today. Your mother asked you to come home for dinner tomorrow? Yes. Su Qingsang pursed her lips slightly. Lu Tongjia rarely came to look for them, except for Hu Jinyao's birthday last time. Your mother looked for you just to ask you to come home for dinner? You don't believe it either, do you? Hu Jinyao didn't believe it either. I didn't expect her to think so highly of Hu Yifan. In order to plead for Hu Yifan, she had repeatedly expressed her goodwill to him, and spoke gently and softly. Hu Jinyao admitted that he was a little uncomfortable. It was also because of this discomfort that he didn't think of showing mercy when he dealt with Hu Yifan. Su Qingsang saw the unhappiness that flashed through his eyes. She thought of Lu Tongjia's reaction on Hu Jinyao's birthday, but she didn't think that was the case. Su Qingsang confirmed her guess the next day. She called back to the old mansion. The person who answered the phone was the butler, Uncle Chung. Uncle Chung had been the butler of the Hua family for more than 20 years. Su Qingsang asked tentatively, and the answer came out. It turned out to be Lu Tongjia's birthday. She didn't say much and hung up the phone. Su Qingsang sat in the office and was a little lost in thought. Today was Lu Tongjia's birthday. She went to look for Hu Jinyao yesterday because she hoped that he could celebrate her birthday with her. Su Qingsang stood up and went next door to tell Sun Huiya. She came back, changed her clothes, picked up her bag and left. After driving out of the hospital, Su Qingsang had a headache. With Lu Tongjia's status, she naturally didn't lack anything. As a result, she didn't know what to give. Moreover, this gift was given on behalf of Hu Jinyao. Su Qingsang thought for a moment and called Li Qianxue to ask for her opinion. After hanging up the phone, Su Qingsang's car stopped at the intersection of Wenhua Street. She got out of the car and walked less than 200 meters forward to the entrance of Gulangxian. This was the largest antique shop in Rong City. When she had a gathering with Hu Jinyao's group of childhood friends, she had heard someone mention that this was opened by Wan Xianying's family. She didn't plan to announce Wan Xianying's name when she entered the door. She first looked around in the shop. In fact, she rarely came to such a place. Gulangxian was located in the middle of a cultural street in Rong City. This was the largest shop on this street. There were 3 floors. It was designed to imitate the old counters in ancient times. There were all kinds of vases and ornaments on the antique shelves around it. Su Qingsang didn't know much about antiques, so she thought that they were old. The shopkeeper inside seemed to be entertaining guests. When he saw Su Qingsang come in, he didn't immediately come over to greet her. Su Qingsang didn't mind. She first looked at the antique shelf. She had already decided that if she couldn't pick out anything, she would call Wan Xianying. After all, it was just a thought. It didn't matter what gift it was. She took a few steps and stopped in front of a jade carving. This jade carving wasn't big. It was only the size of 2 palms. However, in such a small place, it was carved with the 8 immortals crossing the sea. Every immortal was lifelike, and even the magic artifacts in the hands of the 8 immortals looked extremely exquisite. This jade ornament was not bad, and it could be given as a gift. However, it didn't seem appropriate to give it to a female elder. Do you like this? A voice suddenly sounded behind her. Su Qingsang was startled. The familiar voice made her quickly turn her head, only to find that it was Zhang Yichen standing behind her. Seeing that it was him, Su Qingsang was greatly surprised. It had been more than 2 months since she returned from Sea City for disaster relief. It had been more than 2 months since she last saw Zhang Yichen. He had become darker and seemed to have lost some weight. Uncle. Su Qingsang bowed slightly. Her voice was a little uncomfortable. Why are you here? I have a few days off, so I came to visit the old master. Next month is my father's birthday, so I wanted to come here to pick out a gift for him. Oh. Su Qingsang nodded and didn't say anything else. Zhang Yichen looked at the jade carving. Do you like this? It's not that I like it. I just think it's very exquisite. Su Qingsang thought for a moment and told the truth. I want to give it to an elder, but I don't think it's appropriate. If you buy it for yourself to play with, it's fine. If you want to give it to someone, it's indeed inappropriate. Why? She already had an idea, but because of Zhang Yichen's words, she couldn't help but ask. This jade is not jadeite. If you want to give it to someone as a gift, it's better to give it to someone as a gift. Su Qingsang was really a little embarrassed. I don't quite understand. Isn't it all jade? It's not the same. As Zhang Yichen spoke, he glanced at the shopkeeper behind him, then turned to look at Su Qingsang. If you want to give it to someone as a gift, their good stuff is upstairs. I'll take you there. Zhang Yichen was obviously very familiar with this place. As he spoke, he led Su Qingsang upstairs. Su Qingsang looked at his back and wanted to refuse, but she really didn't have much time to slowly choose now. When she went up to the second floor, she found that it was a completely different world. The storefronts below were dazzling, but the upstairs was of a different style. Different antique vases are placed in each of the compartments, but compared to the ones below, they were much more exquisite. Wan Xianying likes to play, but he has a good eye for antiques. His ancestors were in the antique business, so he's been influenced by them since he was a child. He's good at this. He rarely makes mistakes with the things he collects. You can take a look. Zhang Yichen slowed down a little, glanced around, and seemed to be explaining to her casually. Okay. Su Qingsang trusted the abilities of Hua Jinyao's childhood friends. Wan Xianying had told her a few times to come and take a look when she had the chance. She casually walked a few steps and found that Zhang Yichen had been about a meter in front of her. It was a good distance, a very safe distance. Well, it was a good distance. Su Qingsang glanced at him, then turned her eyes away and began to look around. There were many good things, but none of them were good enough for Lu Tongjia's birthday present. The Hua family had blue and white porcelain, ancient calligraphy and paintings after all. What? You don't like anything? Not really. Su Qingsang didn't dare to say that she didn't like them. After all, every one of them was expensive. I just don't think it's appropriate to give them away. An elder? A female elder? Yes. Su Qingsang didn't deny it. Zhang Yichen looked a little serious. He glanced at her and said, "Let's go to the third floor." Su Qingsang wasn't surprised at how familiar he was with this place now. She followed him upstairs and found that it was even emptier. There were a few rooms inside. A waiter came over and greeted Zhang Yichen first. "Mr. Zhang, you're here. Should I call Mr. Wan over?" The waiter was very perceptive. Zhang Yichen had been here a few times, so he recognized him. "No need. I'll take a look first." Zhang Yichen glanced at the waiter as he spoke. "By the way, what can I give to an elder? Show us." "That's such a coincidence. Mr. Zhang, you're right to come today. Mr. Wan gambled on stones a few months ago and won a lot of good things. I just saw an honored guest off at the counter inside, and I've just finished cleaning up. There are still a lot of treasures left. Come with me. Lead the way. This way, please." The waiter was very clever. He led Zhang Yichen and Su Qingsang to a small room on the side. They pushed the door open and entered. There was a small counter inside. There were many jade ornaments and some antiques on the shelves on both sides. There were a few paintings on the wall. They looked old, but Su Qingsang didn't know much about them. She just thought that the environment was very elegant and well decorated. While she was still admiring the paintings, the waiter had already led them to the counter. There were some bracelets on the counter. There weren't many, just a few. Even though Su Qingsang didn't know much about jade, she could tell that the jade was of high quality. The waiter was good at reading people's expressions. He didn't introduce them too much. After introducing the things in the room, he picked out two of the roundest ones and put them on the counter. "Mr. Zhang, what do you think of these two?" Su Qingsang hadn't taken her eyes off the other jade ornaments on the counter. What the waiter said next almost made her choke on her own saliva. "Mr. Zhang, look at this one. It's full of water, and the quality is good. Do you think your girlfriend likes it?" "Girlfriend? Who was his girlfriend? I'm not his girlfriend." Chapter 619. The waiter worked for Wan Xianying. Wan Xianying was Hua Jinyao's childhood friend. Even if the waiter was wrong, Su Qingsang didn't want Hua Jinyao to hear about such a misunderstanding. She explained so quickly that she didn't notice the strange look on Zhang Yichen's face. The waiter was a little embarrassed. He looked at Zhang Yichen and then at Su Qingsang. They didn't look like a couple. It was his fault for not asking clearly. "Young Master Zhang, look at this mouth of mine." The waiter slapped him on the face lightly. He didn't apologize to Su Qingsang. Su Qingseng didn't want to waste time with this man. She glanced at the bracelet in his hand. Let me see. Okay. Look here. The waiter had made a slip of the tongue. He could only try to make up for it. Miss, look at this waterhead. This is the glass type from an old pit in Myanmar. This color, this transparency. I'm not bragging. Put this bracelet on your wrist. You'll look like a rich lady. Su Qingseng glanced at the waiter and couldn't help but laugh. Her eyes fell on the bracelet. It was indeed beautiful. Even someone like her, who didn't know anything about jewelry, could see that the bracelet was extraordinarily beautiful. She had some impression of Lu Tongjia's hands. They were very white and smooth. A bracelet like this was indeed very suitable for her. I'll take this one. Okay. The waiter had seen many customers who were straightforward, but Su Qingseng's decisiveness still surprised him. She answered without thinking, took the bracelet and wrapped it up. Su Qingseng took out her card and handed it to him to pay. Because Zhang Yichen was standing on the side, once the waiter left, only the two of them were left in the room. She felt a little uncomfortable being alone in a room with a man and a woman. She turned her face away and pretended to look around casually. The furnishings upstairs were all very exquisite. Not to mention the others, just the antique shelf looked like it had been there for a long time. Su Qingseng's interest was aroused. She glanced at the shelf on the side and was suddenly attracted by something. It was a jade carving, much more exquisite than the 8 immortals crossing the sea downstairs. The stone was not much bigger than a fist, and there were pavilions and terraces carved on it. However, there were tiny figures in the pavilions and terraces. He leaned over to take a closer look, and it turned out to be the 12 beauties of Jinling from Dream of the Red Chamber. Each of the 12 hairpins had their own representative action. Jade-bearing flowers, treasure hairpin catching butterflies, and so on. Although they looked small, they had both form and spirit. Even though Su Qingseng had seen a lot of good things after marrying Hu Jiniao, she was still amazed by the exquisiteness of this jade carving. If it weren't for the glass separating them, she would have reached out to touch it. What kind of craftsmanship was required to carve the jade into such a lifelike appearance? If you look carefully, you can almost see the expression on Lin Dayu's face, which is full of sorrow and sorrow. Su Qingseng couldn't help but stare at the jade carving for a long time. On the other side, the shop assistant had already wrapped up the jade and swiped the card. He handed the card and the small bag to Su Qingseng. Take it. There are also certificates inside. Everything that goes out of our Bo Guzhai has an ID card. You are welcome to find someone to verify its authenticity at any time. Su Qingseng didn't respond. Naturally, she was willing to believe in Wan Xianying. Speaking of which, that person had said that he wanted to chase Mingwan to France. Who knew what happened after that? Maybe she could ask Mingwan today. She took the things and found that Zhang Yichen was still there. She nodded slightly at him. Thank you, uncle. Thank you for today. You're welcome. Zhang Yichen's voice was indifferent. Wan Xianying isn't here, so I'll make the decision for him. Then I'll leave first. Okay. Wan Xianying walked to the side. Su Qingseng bowed and walked forward. After she left, Zhang Yichen glanced at the ornament she was looking at just now and told the shop assistant to wrap it up. He took the jade carving and picked out another gift for the old man. Zhang Yichen finally left. He thought that the dozens of minutes he was late was enough for Su Qingseng to leave. He didn't expect that when he walked to the antique street, he would find Su Qingseng still standing there. What's wrong? Su Qingseng was a little embarrassed to see him. Just now, she had casually walked around a small shop next to the antique street. When she came out, she found that her car was gone. My car seems to have been towed away. I'm taking a taxi here. He said that parking was not allowed here. Su Qingseng didn't know that. She looked at the faint white line on the ground. She thought it was a parking space. She didn't expect that it wasn't a parking space. Now her car was towed away. She wanted to take a taxi, but for some reason, there wasn't a single taxi here. Parking is not allowed here. Taxis are not allowed either. Zhang Yichen's voice was indifferent. You've been in Rong City for a long time. Don't you know? It was a simple question, without any intention of blaming her. But it successfully made Su Qingseng blush. She only had a few fixed places here. Most of the time, she would be with Hu Jiniao. She really didn't pay much attention. Let's go. Where are you going? I'll give you a ride. As he spoke, he had already started walking forward. It's okay. I can walk to the front and take a taxi. Su Qingsang's words made Zhang Yichen turn around. His body was straight. His eyes fell on Su Qingsang's face. Are you afraid of me? Why would I? Su Qingsang was a little embarrassed. Speaking of which, he was not only Hu Jiniao's uncle, but also her savior. She twitched the corner of her mouth and smiled a little stiffly. Then I'll have to trouble you, uncle. The word uncle made Zhang Yichen's eyebrows almost imperceptibly furrow. He started walking forward. Su Qingsang was about a meter behind him, not too far away from him. After turning a corner, Su Qingsang saw the sign for the parking lot. She was too focused on buying Lu Tongjia a gift, and was a little distracted. She got into Zhang Yichen's Hummer. He put the bag in the back seat. Su Qingsang saw him carrying the box just now. You bought what you wanted? Yes. Where are you going? Su Qingsang looked at the time. She had wanted to go back to the old house first. She looked at the time and saw that Hu Jiniao was still at work. Take me to Jiniao's company. I'm going to see him. When she said Hu Jiniao's name, even if she didn't notice it, Zhang Yichen could hear that her tone had softened a little. His expression didn't change. He calmly drove the car to Tianyu Group. It was very quiet in the car. During this time, Su Qingsang received a phone call. It was from Li Qianxue. She asked her how the gift shopping was going. Su Qingsang told her about the bracelet she had just picked out. Li Qianxue didn't say anything. She only told her that she had to prepare for such things in advance next time. Although the bracelet wasn't unpresentable, it still didn't seem sincere enough. Although Li Qianxue didn't like Lu Tongjia, Su Qingsang was already the daughter-in-law of the Hu family. Of course, she wanted her daughter to live a harmonious life. Su Qingsang chatted with Li Qianxue for a while. Because she was talking to her mother, her voice sounded a little intimate. The hospital isn't busy recently. It's okay. There's nothing else. You video call me every day. If something happened to me, you would have known long ago. Speaking of which, Su Qingsang was glad that she had left soon after being taken away by the police. Otherwise, Li Qianxue would have been worried. Mom, I'm already a grown-up. Why are you still talking about this? I know. Yes. Okay. I will. Su Qingsang didn't know what the other side of the phone said, but her voice was tinged with a smile. All right. I know what I'm doing. Don't worry about me and Hu Jiniao. We have a good relationship. We even made plans to watch a movie together tonight. However, she couldn't go. She had to go back to the old house to celebrate Lu Tongjia's birthday. Hearing Li Qianxue's words, Su Qingsang smiled again. Yeah, it's okay. She was a little coquettish. She didn't need to care about what the person on the other end of the phone was saying. She just needed to look at her. Her eyes were curved, and there was a smile on her lips. Zhang Yichen glanced at her and pursed his lips a little more. He looked forward again. Seeing the signal light turn green, he started the car again. Not long after Su Qingsang hung up the phone, the expression on her face wasn't as relaxed as she appeared to be. Ever since Su Peijian lost so much face in Lin City and tried to set her up, she and the Li family had a tacit understanding not to mention Su Peijian again, including this time when Su Peijian went to jail. She didn't tell Li Qianxue either. Now she was a little conflicted. Li Qianxue and her grandfather didn't know. They didn't know, so they didn't know. But should she tell Su Qinghui or not? We're here. Zhang Yichen's voice snapped her out of her trance. Looking at the Tianyu Group building in front of her, Su Qingsang turned around and thanked Zhang Yichen before getting out of the car. Qingsang, your things. Su Qingsang found that her bag had fallen in the car. She really found that she seemed to always let Zhang Yichen see her a little embarrassed. She quickly picked up the bag and headed to the Tianyu Group. Su Qingsang didn't recover until she entered the elevator. She went upstairs to look for Hu Jiniao. He happened to be in a meeting. Su Qingsang looked at the time. There was still half an hour before he got off work. The other secretaries in the secretarial office knew Su Qingsang, so they didn't dare to neglect her and led her to the office to sit down. Mrs. Hua, President Hua's meeting will end in 10 minutes. You can wait for him here. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Zhang Yang and Yang Wenchang accompanied Hu Jinyao to the meeting. Otherwise, a small secretary like her wouldn't have the chance to entertain Su Qingsang. After placing the flowers on the table for Su Qingsang, the secretary left. Su Qingsang sat on the sofa, took out her phone, and scrolled through her WeChat moments. She didn't have many friends. Other than family and friends, most of them were colleagues and classmates in the hospital. Sometimes people would discuss Weibo in their WeChat moments. There would often be some academic exchanges, which were quite interesting. Before she finished scrolling through her WeChat moments, Hu Jinyao had already arrived. When he entered the door, he didn't know that Su Qingsang was also there. Zhang Yang and Yang Wenchang followed behind him. I don't want to delay the merger any longer. Hurry up and solve it. And the land in H City, let the people in the branch company. Qingsang. Su Qingsang stood up at that moment and smiled at Hu Jinyao. Jinyao, Secretary Zhang, Assistant Yang. Hello, Mrs. Hua. Hello, Mrs. Hua. You guys go out first. Do as I say for the rest of the matter. Yes. The two of them quickly left. After the door closed, Hu Jinyao looked at Su Qingsang, who was walking towards him, and reached out to put his arm around her waist. What's wrong? Didn't we just make an appointment to watch a movie tonight? Why are you so eager to see me? Yes. Su Qingsang also put her arms around his waist. Can't I? It's my honor. Hu Jinyao kissed her on the lips. As if he had thought of something, he said, I had a contract to sign tonight. In order to focus on the date with you, I signed the contract in the afternoon. How is it? How's your husband? Yes. My husband is the best in the world. Hu Jinyao pinched her nose and withdrew his hand under her protesting gaze. Let's go. What do you want to eat tonight? I'll listen to you. Then let's go to private restaurant. Hu Jinyao tidied up the things on the table, then picked up the car key. It's new, but I went with Qing Xianyan and the others last time. It tastes good. Okay. Su Qingsang didn't object. Her hand touched her bag, which still contained her gift for Lu Tongjia. When Hu Jinyao came over, she walked in front of him and reached out to hook her arm with his. The two of them went out and entered the elevator. Su Qingsang suddenly turned her face. Jinyao. Yes. Speaking of which, it seems that we haven't gone back to see Grandpa and the others for a long time. Why don't we go back to see Grandpa? You mean back to the old house? Yes. You see, Aunt Zhou and Aunt Wang's cooking is no worse than outside. Why should we go out to eat? Hu Jinyao narrowed his eyes and looked at her. Su Qingsang said calmly, What do you think? I haven't eaten Aunt Zhou's cooking and Aunt Wang's soup for a long time. Why don't we go home for dinner today? He stared at her face for a long time. The elevator had reached the first floor. Hu Jinyao glanced at her and finally nodded. Okay. The car stopped in the parking lot outside the Hu mansion. When Hu Jinyao got out of the car, he saw the Hummer at first glance. He glanced at Su Qingsang, then stared at the Hummer for a long while. Su Qingsang blinked. She didn't expect that Zhang Yiqin would come. Didn't he say that he was going back to see his father? Let's go. Hu Jinyao withdrew his gaze and put his arm around Su Qingsang's shoulder. Lu Tongjia sat in her room. She didn't look too good. Hu Mingguang came back very early today. He knew that it was Lu Tongjia's birthday. Happy birthday. He gave the gift that he had prepared in advance to Lu Tongjia. Lu Tongjia took it and thanked him. She didn't even want to open the gift. She just put it aside. Hu Mingguang sat down next to her. What's wrong? Don't you like my gift? Lu Tongjia shook her head. Hu Mingguang sighed and said, Should I call Jinyao and ask him to come back? I don't want you to call him back. If he wants to come back, he can come back on his own. So what if he came back? He didn't really come to celebrate her birthday. If Hu Mingguang had to beg him to come back, he might as well not come back. Hu Mingguang was about to say something when someone knocked on the door. Soon, Uncle Cheng's voice came from outside. Sir, madam. Young master and young madam are back. Okay, got it. Hu Mingguang responded. He turned to look at Lu Tongjia with a faint smile in his eyes. Okay, he's back. He came on his own. Lu Tongjia's eyes were filled with joy, but soon, she glared at Hu Mingguang. You really didn't call him back? I didn't. Hua Mingguang took her hand and asked her to go downstairs with him. Jinyao must have remembered that it's your birthday today, so he came to celebrate it with you. Hua Mingguang's words made Lu Tongjia smile even more. She quickened her steps. Hua Mingguang felt a little emotional seeing his wife like this. If it hadn't been for what happened years ago, Lu Tongjia and Hua Jinyao would have been like any other mother and son. Although they had wasted more than 10 years, it wasn't too late to make up for it from now on. The two of them went downstairs together. Lu Tongjia's joyful face froze when she saw Zhang Yichen. Cousin-in-law. Zhang Yichen stood up first and greeted them. Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao also stood up. Dad. Mom. Dad. Auntie. Yes, Lu Tongjia responded. She looked at Zhang Yichen and then at Su Qingsang. It turned out that Hua Jinyao's disgust for Su Qingsang was back. She walked very slowly to the sofa and sat down. Hua Mingguang followed her. Of course, he didn't know what Lu Tongjia was thinking. He was very close to Zhang Yichen, his cousin. The group of people sat down again. Old Master Hua sat on one side of the U-shaped sofa. Hua Jinyao and Su Qingsang sat opposite him, while Zhang Yichen sat next to Old Master Hua, which was the middle seat. Lu Tongjia and Hua Mingguang came down. Zhang Yichen stood up and gave them the seat close to Old Master Hua. He sat on the other side. However, this way, he sat close to Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao. Lu Tongjia's face darkened when she saw that. Hua Mingguang noticed that his wife didn't look well, so he turned to Hua Jinyao. Jinyao, what brings you here today? I remember that you have a contract to sign today? I signed it this afternoon. Hua Jinyao glanced at Su Qingsang and said. Qingsang said that she wanted to see Grandpa, so we came over. He was happy to show Su Qingsang's power in front of the Hua family, and he was also happy to make Su Qingsang look good in front of the Hua family. Su Qingsang nudged him gently. How could he talk like that? What did he mean by she wanted to see Grandpa? Didn't he want to see him? Grandpa, don't listen to his nonsense. He wanted to see you himself. Old Master Hua's stroke was serious, but it wasn't serious either. After almost having a stroke, his hands trembled a little when holding things, but other than that, he was fine. After being discharged from the hospital, there were professional doctors and nurses to take care of Old Master Hua. Hua Jinyao was actually very concerned about him. Lu Tongjia's face darkened. So these two people didn't even know her birthday? Were they only here to see Old Master Hua? Su Qingsang saw Lu Tongjia's face from the corner of her eye. After knowing that she had come to see Hua Jinyao yesterday, she suddenly understood Lu Tongjia's pride and awkwardness. Speaking of which, although it's important to see Grandpa, there's something more important today. Chapter 620. What? Old Master Hua couldn't be blamed for forgetting Lu Tongjia's birthday. Lu Tongjia had been unwilling to celebrate her birthday for the past decade. He was getting on in years, so he naturally forgot about it. Today is Auntie's birthday. As Su Qingsang spoke, she took out the box containing the jade bracelet from her bag and nudged Hua Jinyao. Jinyao and I went to pick out this gift early in the morning. Auntie, this is for you. I wish you a happy birthday and a long life. Su Qingsang wanted Hua Jinyao to take the gift to Lu Tongjia. However, Hua Jinyao was also stunned by her words. When he came in just now, Old Master Hua's expression didn't change. He didn't look like he pitied Hua Yifan and didn't want her to save him. He finally understood why Lu Tongjia had come to him yesterday and asked him to come back for dinner tonight. So today was Lu Tongjia's birthday? He looked at the box in Su Qingsang's hand. It was the packaging of Wan Xianying's Gulangxian. He knew at a glance. He turned to look at Su Qingsang. She was thoughtful. Su Qingsang was also looking at him. She stared at the box and signaled for him to take it and give it to Hua Jinyao. Who was Lu Tongjia? Hearing Su Qingsang's words, her heart was filled with joy. But looking at her son's performance, how could she not know? Perhaps Hua Jinyao didn't even know his birthday, and Su Qingsang was just telling him. Looking at the box in Su Qingsang's hand, she lost all interest in it. Especially when she saw that Hua Jinyao was staring at the box in a daze and had no intention of handing it over. She felt even more suffocated. If her son didn't sincerely celebrate her birthday and didn't even know it was her birthday, Then what was the point of celebrating? Old Master Hua also realized that it was Lu Tongjia's birthday today. Being a smart man, he could easily tell that Hu Jinniao and Su Qingsang were behaving like this. He immediately laughed. Look, I'm getting old, and my memory is getting worse. He had forgotten that it was Tong Jia's birthday. It was also my fault. Cheng, go to my room later and take out the set of emerald jewelry that the old woman left for Tongjia to celebrate her birthday. The butler, Uncle Chung, who was standing at the side, was a smart person. He immediately replied, Yes. I'll go get it now. How is that appropriate? Lu Tongjia knew what old Master Hua was talking about emeralds. It was a set of extremely precious jewelry left behind by old Madame Hua. The old lady used to like it and often wore it. Later, as she grew older, she took it off and said that she would give it to her daughter-in-law. Although this was the case, the old master was still alive. He often thought of seeing things and didn't want to pass it on. It was only a small birthday present, so it was obvious that the gift was a little too much. After all, he had said that he would leave it to his daughter-in-law, not which daughter-in-law. Nian Chuanya was still on the other end. There's nothing inappropriate about it. These farms will all be yours in the future. The old master waved his hand. Uncle Chung had already brought the things over. Lu Tongjia had already seen the set of jewelry, so she wasn't in a hurry to open it. She was not in a good mood, even though she had received a gift. After all, the person she cared about and wanted the other party to remember her birthday didn't remember her birthday. Zhang Yichen was sitting there. He had been surprised when Su Qingsang walked into the room. He had heard from her that she was going to watch a movie with Hu Jinniao today, so he came over. He didn't expect that he would come here instead of going to the movie. He couldn't help but feel a little uneasy when they met, especially when he met Hu Jinniao's understanding gaze. He wanted to get up and leave, but he felt that it would be too deliberate, so he continued to sit. He could only rejoice that he had already given a gift to old Master Hua when he came over from Gulangxian. Otherwise, Hu Jinniao might think too much about it if it was placed together with Su Qingsang's gift in the same packaging. Old Master Hua was in a good mood. He called Auntie Zhou and asked the kitchen to add more food. He also asked Zhang Yichen to stay for dinner. Since he had spoken, Zhang Yichen had no reason to refuse. With this, Su Qingsang had a chance to give Hu Jinniao a look. No matter how much he didn't like Lu Tongjia on the surface, it was Lu Tongjia's birthday. As her son, he couldn't be too cold, could he? Hu Jinniao saw her look and knew that she was doing it for his own good. He felt a little helpless, so he reached out and pushed the box in front of Lu Tongjia. Mom, happy birthday. These words were said very softly. Lu Tongjia was a little unhappy at first. Seeing Hu Jinniao like this, she couldn't get angry. Her dissatisfaction with Su Qingsang lessened a little, and she took the gift. She opened it and saw that it was a bracelet of excellent quality. She glanced at Su Qingsang again. She knew that the bracelet was a good color. You guys are very thoughtful. She put the bracelet back. In the end, she didn't dwell too much on the fact that Hu Jinniao didn't remember her birthday. With more than 10 years of estrangement, it was impossible to repair it in a day or two. She knew that she still felt a little sad. Huamingguang knew what she was thinking, so he reached out and squeezed her hand. Although the atmosphere wasn't particularly harmonious, it wasn't particularly awkward either. Huamingguang talked to Zhang Yichen, while Hu Jinniao talked to old Master Hua about the recent situation. As long as old Master Hua didn't ask him to get Hu Yifan out of prison, he was willing to cooperate with anything else. After dinner, Hu Jinniao hadn't played chess with old Master Hua for a long time, so the two of them played chess in the living room. Lu Tongjia saw that her son was staying to celebrate her birthday with her. They had been close during dinner, so she felt a little better. After instructing Aunt Zhou to bring some tea and snacks outside, she was about to leave when Uncle Chung came in. Madam, should I put this in the storeroom for you or in your room? The Hua family was a big family. Every time they received a gift, they had to register it. Next time, they would have to return the favor. Old Master Hua wasn't the only one who had his own storeroom for treasures. Huamingguang and Lu Tongjia also had a room for their treasures. Put it in my room. Although Hu Jinniao hadn't picked it out himself, It was the first gift the couple had sent. Lu Tongjia planned to wear it when she went out in a few days. Got it, madam. Uncle Chung was in charge of the Hua family's affairs. He took the box and was about to go upstairs. However, Lu Tongjia saw another box in his hand. Wait a minute. She took a few steps forward and looked at the box in Uncle Cheng's hand. The packaging of the box was also from Gu Langxian. What is this? This. Uncle Chung looked at the larger box and didn't understand why Lu Tongjia was suddenly interested in asking this. This is a gift from Third Master Zhang to Old Master Hua. I was busy just now and forgot to put it in the storeroom. Although Zhang Yichen was young, he was senior. He was Hua Yangxiu's son and ranked third. The other two families called him Third Master Zhang. Hua Yangxiu's grandson called him Young Master Zhang. Third Master has good taste. It's a decoration made of sandalwood. It's said to be a new gift from Gu Langxian. Old Master Hua likes it. Lu Tongjia didn't have time to see if the gift was exquisite or not, nor did she care if Old Master Hua liked it or not. She stared at the box. What else didn't she understand? Good. It was really good. Such a big green hat had been put on Hua Jinyao's head. He even used her as a cover. That was really enough. She was annoyed and angry. However, her face didn't change at all. Since it's a gift from Zhang Yichen, take it and keep it. She was the mistress of the Hua family, so she naturally had the ability to not show her emotions. Now that she was provoked by the two similar boxes in front of her, she was so angry that her head was about to explode. However, her face didn't change at all. She waved for Uncle Chung to leave, then turned around and walked into the living room. Halfway through, she stopped again. She felt that she couldn't swallow her anger. Then she went to the living room. In the living room, Hua Jinyao and Old Master Hua sat face to face and were talking. Su Qingseng sat next to Hua Jinyao. She didn't know how to play chess, but she was willing to sit there and accompany him. Zhang Yichen and Hua Mingguang sat next to Old Master Hua. Zhang Yichen was about to leave. However, Old Master Hua hadn't seen him for a long time and asked him to stay to talk. He hadn't had much rest since the disaster relief. This time, he had a rare vacation, so he really wanted to see Old Master Hua. He didn't refuse and talked about some things about the disaster relief. In fact, he had made 2 more great contributions this time. There was no need to talk about the dangers, and the several times he had almost lost his life. He picked some small things and told Old Master Hua a little. However, because Su Qingseng was sitting opposite him, it looked like the two of them were sitting face to face. Seeing this, Lu Tongjia felt that her anger began to rise again, and a fire burned in her heart. Forcing herself to calm down, she took a few steps forward and looked at Su Qingseng. Qingseng, your grandfather and Hua Jinyao will play chess for a long time. Why don't you come to the garden with me? Do you want to take a walk to digest your food? Su Qingseng didn't have a good relationship with Lu Tongjia. She was a little surprised to hear Lu Tongjia call her. She couldn't help but glance at Hua Jinyao. Hua Jinyao was focused on playing chess. Remembering that it was Lu Tongjia's birthday today, he didn't think much of it and nodded slightly at Su Qingseng. Su Qingseng stood up and took Lu Tongjia's gesture as a gesture of goodwill. It's my honor that Auntie is interested. She stood up and followed Lu Tongjia outside. In the eyes of Old Master Hua and Hua Mingguang, Lu Tongjia's gesture was a sign that she was willing to lower her status to show goodwill. They were relieved for a moment. Big families hoped for family harmony the most. Only Zhang Yichen stared in the direction where Su Qingseng and Hua Jinyao left. When he looked away, there was a hint of contemplation in his eyes. Su Qingseng followed Lu Tongjia out of the courtyard. It was summer, and Rong City was also very hot. Occasionally, a breeze blew in at night, adding a bit of coolness. Su Qingseng followed behind Lu Tongjia. She was surprised to see that Lu Tongjia was only walking to the back of the garden. She could only follow behind her slowly. The Hua family's garden was very large. There were many rare green plants and a special greenhouse. Lu Tongjia walked to the door of the greenhouse and pushed it open. She turned on the light, and the view of the greenhouse was unobstructed. Su Qingseng had stayed in the Hua family for a long time. Naturally, she knew how carefully the greenhouse was decorated. Seeing that Lu Tongjia didn't say anything, Su Qingseng's eyes fell on a rose. The rose was blue. She had grown it at home, and it was rare for it to bloom so beautifully. This one is beautiful. Uncle Li has put in a lot of effort. Lu Tongjia didn't respond to her. She walked straight to Su Qingsang and looked her in the eye. She didn't hide her eyes at all. Su Qingsang felt a little strange when she was looked at with such disgust and disdain. Auntie, don't call me that. Lu Tongjia only felt that Su Qingsang was dirty. Su Qingsang, you're so disgusting. What she said was a little unpleasant. Su Qingsang frowned. Auntie, if you just want to humiliate me, then I won't keep you company. She walked past Lu Tongjia to walk out of the greenhouse. But Lu Tongjia blocked her way and wouldn't let her leave. Su Qingsang, how can you be so shameless? Su Qingsang stood there without moving. Her expression was a little serious. What do you mean that you and Jinyao picked a gift for my birthday? You picked the gift yourself, didn't you? What does it have to do with Jinyao? So it was about that. Su Qingsang pursed her lips and said, I did choose the gift, but Jinyao. Don't mention Jinyao to me. Lu Tongjia's voice rose a few octaves. She paced back and forth, stopped in front of Su Qingsang again, and reached out to point at her nose. You bewitched Jinyao and made him lose his mind. He listened to everything you said and believed everything you said? Ha! Auntie? Jinyao, do you have Jinyao in your heart? Su Qingsang, tell me, who did you pick the gift with? Su Qingsang was stunned. Who did she pick the gift with? She picked it herself. She just met Zhang Yichen by chance. Can't tell you? Lu Tongjia sneered. Can't you tell me? Why don't I tell you? Zhang Yichen picked the gift with you. Husband and wife. What a shameless couple. You just want to hide your dirty thoughts. You came here to celebrate my birthday with me? Don't you think it's disgusting? Su Qingsang looked at Lu Tongjia stunned. She couldn't believe that Lu Tongjia would say something like that. Auntie, don't call me that. Lu Tongjia felt bad hearing Su Qingsang's voice. Don't you feel guilty? The two of you went out to have a secret date, and you came here with my birthday to disgust me? Su Qingsang, do you think there's no one in the Hua family? You're sure that Jinyao likes you, cares about you, and turns a blind eye to your shameless behavior, aren't you? Su Qingsang couldn't help but frown. Her words were so harsh that even she couldn't help but frown. Auntie, Uncle and I are not what you think. Uncle? What uncle? You know he's your uncle? Aren't you filthy and disgusting? Lu Tongjia didn't want to hear Su Qingsang's explanation. She stared at her with a serious expression. Su Qingsang, I'm telling you, there's only one way for you to go now. What? Divorce. Lu Tongjia's voice was extremely cold and merciless. I'm telling you, you have to divorce Jinyao. Stay away from Jinyao and the Hua family. Divorce? Su Qingsang looked at Lu Tongjia and didn't take her words seriously. That's impossible. She had nothing to do with Zhang Yichen. Ever since the incident with Qi Shiwei, her relationship with Hua Jinyao had become as sweet as honey. How could she be willing to leave Hua Jinyao? Impossible? Su Qingsang, you can't be too shameless. Lu Tongjia really felt sorry for Hua Jinyao. Don't even think about seducing Jinyao. I'm telling you, I won't allow a woman like you to spend the rest of your life with Jinyao. Su Qingsang felt a headache coming on, but now she saw the difference. If Lu Tongjia said this to her before, it was because she felt that she had embarrassed the Hua family. Now that he said this, it seemed that he really felt sorry for Hua Jinyao. Auntie, Su Qingsang, didn't want to explain her relationship with Zhang Yichen. Hua Jinyao trusted her anyway, so she didn't have to say too much. However, Lu Tongjia's identity was different. Uncle and I are not what you think. I just wanted to pick out a gift for you today, and I happened to go to Wan Xianyang's shop. You know that they all know each other. I didn't expect to see Uncle there. I'll say it again. I'll leave after I pick out a gift for you. If you insist on associating me with Uncle, it doesn't seem appropriate. Coincidence? Coincidental? You didn't expect it? Inappropriate. Lu Tongjia nodded repeatedly. You're good at finding excuses for yourself. Do you think I'll believe you just because you say that? Don't think that I don't know how many times you two have hugged in places where Jinyao can't see. Oh, and we don't need to see you. You can even do it in places where I can see you. It's ridiculous that you're still saying that for yourself. Auntie, don't you know what happened that time? Su Qingsang didn't want to bring up the past, but Lu Tongjia wouldn't let it go. She was angry. If you hadn't drugged Uncle, he wouldn't have lost his composure like that. I drugged him. Lu Tongjia was so angry with Hu Jiniao that she lost her mind, so she didn't defend herself. Seeing Su Qingsang like this, she was furious. How many times have you two hugged in places where I can't see? Do you still need me to drug that bastard Zhang Yichen? She used to admire Zhang Yichen, and thought that it would be good if he could build a good relationship with Hu Jiniao. She hated Zhang Yichen so much now. Uncle and niece-in-law. How could he do that? No wonder Jiniao is so protective of you. I don't get along with him. You and Zhang Yichen did those dirty things, but you blamed me for it. Su Qingsang, you're really good at scheming. Su Qingsang was stunned by Lu Tongjia's words. She was not an idiot, and she immediately found out that something was wrong. What did she mean by she and Zhang Yichen had hugged in places where she couldn't see? What did she mean by they didn't need her to drug them? What did she mean by she was blaming her? What? Are you feeling guilty? The two of you are openly hooking up with each other, in the Hua family's territory. You're trying to drive a wedge between Jiniao and me. Su Qingsang, how can you be so vicious? She and Hua Jiniao's relationship had been weak for more than 10 years. But if it weren't for Su Qingsang, Hua Jiniao wouldn't have treated her like this. Su Qingsang ignored Lu Tongjia's words. She looked up at Lu Tongjia, who was agitated and seemed confused. Are you saying that on the day of the Dragon Boat Festival, you weren't the one who drugged Uncle? Su Qingsang, even at a time like this, you're still blaming me for what happened between you and Zhang Yichen? If it wasn't you, then who was it? Su Qingsang only cared about this question now. This was the Hua family. Who could do something to Zhang Yichen in the Hua family, and then put the blame on her? Su Qingsang, don't change the topic. Who drugged Zhang Yichen? If it weren't for you, no one would have had the chance, right? All right. I don't want to talk nonsense with you. You just need to promise me that you'll divorce Jiniao tomorrow. You don't have to talk about the rest. Who knew who had drugged them? Maybe it was just an act to deceive people? I won't divorce Jiniao. Su Qingsang wasn't in the mood to think about who drugged him. If she told Hu Jiniao about it later, he would find out immediately. She looked at Lu Tongjia and said in a low voice, Jiniao and I are husband and wife. Jiniao and I are husband and wife. Since we are married, it is impossible for us to divorce. Su Qingsang, you. What Qingsang wants to say is also what I want to say. Lu Tongjia froze for a second when she heard the voice. She turned around and found that Hu Jiniao had come out. He looked at Su Qingsang, who was standing in the greenhouse with a determined look on her face. He walked a few steps forward and stood in front of her. Mom, I won't divorce Qingsang. You won't divorce her? Don't you know that she cheated on you? Don't you know that she and you? Su Qingsang could do it. But Lu Tongjia didn't want her son to be too sad, so she didn't say it out loud. She couldn't swallow the anger in her heart. Hua Jiniao, if you're still a man, divorce her. If you're still a man, divorce her. Mom. Hua Jiniao looked at Lu Tongjia with a complicated look in his eyes. He looked at her carefully, and found that she was much better than before, when he always looked at her with his guard up. I believe in Qingsang's character. Please believe in Qingsang's character as well. She won't do anything to hurt me. Hua Jiniao. You. Mom. This is all a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Lu Tongjia was furious. Hua Jiniao glanced at Su Qingsang and said, It's cold outside. You go in first. I need to talk to Mom. Jiniao. Su Qingsang looked at him worriedly. She wasn't worried that Hua Jiniao wouldn't believe her. She was just worried that he would argue with Lu Tongjia. Today is Auntie's birthday. You. I don't need your fake kindness. Lu Tongjia got even angrier when Hua Jiniao mentioned her birthday. Su Qingsang used the excuse of buying her a birthday present to meet Zhang Yichen in private. As soon as she arrived, she would feel uncomfortable and flustered. Su Qingsang felt helpless. Hua Jiniao shook his head at her. Su Qingsang felt helpless. She squeezed his hand worriedly, then turned and left. After she left, the greenhouse quieted down. Lu Tongjia had just vented her anger, so she was still upset. She was angry with Hua Jiniao. She was angry that her son didn't have any sense of propriety. She was angry that Su Qingsang had him in her hands. She was even more angry that she had lost all her prestige. She was not close to Hu Jingyao, so he wouldn't listen to her at all. All kinds of emotions were mixed together, but none of them could make her happy. Chapter 621. Mom. Hu Jinyao's tone was soft. Qingsang and I are not what you think. Qingsang is not what you think either. As for uncle, he is not what you think either. Seeing that Lu Tongjia was still angry, Hu Jinyao didn't want to explain. However, he remembered that Lu Tongjia wasn't the one who poisoned him. At that time he was blinded by anger. Now that he looked back, there were many suspicious points. After all, no matter how much Lu Tongjia disliked him, she couldn't ignore the Hu family's reputation. Not to mention that there were so many guests and relatives there that day. She wouldn't have made a big deal out of it, and she wouldn't have allowed such a thing to happen. He was prejudiced and a little paranoid. Because of this, Hu Jinyao didn't look so angry. You have been poisoned by Su Qingsang. You are out of your mind. Lu Tongjia was very angry. She took a step forward. For the first time in so many years, she took the initiative to approach Hu Jinyao. Jinyao, I didn't stop you from doing anything you did before. If you wanted to find someone with a lower status, I wouldn't stop you. But Su Qingsang can't. She has a moral problem. Jinyao, I won't allow a person with a moral problem to be your wife and the future mistress of the Hu family. After all, not everyone could become the matriarch of the Hu family. Hu Jinyao knew that she was angry and disliked Su Qingsang. He didn't care about some things before, but now he couldn't ignore them. Mom, calm down and be objective. Hu Jinyao put his hands on Lu Tongjia's shoulders. His expression was calm. I am calm. I am calm. That's why I thought. I know how uncle feels about Qingsang. His words interrupted Lu Tongjia. She stared at Hu Jinyao with her eyes wide open. What did you say? I know you like Qingsang. Hu Jinyao's expression was very calm. No, maybe it's not enough. It should be love. He loves Qingsang. Lu Tongjia's face turned pale. She stared at Hu Jinyao. But Qingsang doesn't know. How is that possible? Mom. Hu Jinyao had a feeling that he was back when he was a teenager. Lu Tongjia blamed him for all those things. Back then, he didn't want to explain himself. But this time he wanted to. Uncle probably didn't know Qingsang's identity when he met her. Hu Jinyao didn't know what to say. There were some things he knew, but he didn't want to ruin his relationship with Su Qingsang with suspicion. Qingsang doesn't know what you're thinking. What you saw was just an accident. Accident? That time. I will find the person who drugged him. He would not allow such a person to exist in the Hu family. It wasn't too difficult to investigate these matters. But please believe me on one point. Qingsang had absolutely no feelings for her uncle. I know they may often come across something that makes you uncomfortable, but in fact, I'm really glad that you had feelings for Su Qingsang. Hu Jinyao. How could he say something like that? Was he still a man? Lu Tongjia's face turned green. Mom, uncle saved Qingsang's life. Hu Jinyao held her shoulder and tightened his grip. I almost lost Qingsang. Almost. The last time I went to Sea City, there was an earthquake. Qingsang was trapped under the rubble. It was her uncle who saved her. Mom, I don't care what you think of uncle, and I don't want to care what you think of Qingsang. But I hope you understand that I'm very grateful to uncle. From the bottom of my heart. Lu Tongjia didn't know about these things, and no one would tell her. She thought about the earthquake that killed hundreds of people, and that her son had also stayed there for many days. At that time, she was very worried about Hu Jinyao and blamed Su Qingsang in her heart. However, she didn't know that Su Qingsang had almost died. I'm jealous that the person who appeared that day wasn't me, but I'm also glad that uncle was there that day. Otherwise, I would have lost Qingsang now. And that outcome was absolutely unacceptable to him. Mom, you didn't do it that day. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. Lu Tongjia couldn't keep up with her thoughts. She looked at Hu Jinyao. It was the first time in so many years that she had heard her son apologize. Her lips moved. She wanted to say something, but she didn't know what to say. Her eyes suddenly turned red. Mom, I'm sorry. Hua Jingyao apologized very seriously. I shouldn't have misunderstood you. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. Lu Tongjia's eyes were not only red, but also a little sour and hot. She felt something coming out of her eyes. Mom, let's get over what happened in the past, okay? Qingseng is a good girl. I hope you can put aside your prejudices and seriously accept her. You'll find that she's better than you think. Lu Tongjia didn't hear the second half of the sentence. She only heard the first sentence. Jingyao. Hua Jingyao turned his face slightly. When he looked at Lu Tongjia again, his expression was a little excited. At least, he wasn't as calm as he appeared. It was Lu Tongjia's birthday today. She came to look for him yesterday. On his birthday, Lu Tongjia brought a cake to his apartment. Hua Jingyao thought about it and understood some things very clearly. It would be a lie to say that there was no barrier in his heart at all, and that he didn't mind at all. However, Lu Tongjia was his mother, the person who gave birth to him. Especially after seeing how haggard Qi Shiwei had made herself because of her pregnancy, he sometimes couldn't help but wonder if Lu Tongjia had also had such a hard time when she was pregnant back then. Some things were in the past. It was hard to recall the past. Even if he couldn't be as close to Lu Tongjia as a normal mother and son, he really didn't want to be like an enemy to Lu Tongjia anymore. Hua Jingyao looked at Lu Tongjia and used a very soft voice to hide the trace of helplessness in the depths of his heart. Can I? Lu Tongjia's lips trembled. She blinked her eyes and tears flowed down her cheeks. At this moment, she couldn't care less about Su Qingseng. She just looked at Hua Jingyao in disbelief. He had scolded her viciously just now. He had clearly misunderstood her actions of taking the initiative to express goodwill several times. Now that he had put on such an attitude, Lu Tongjia couldn't accept it. For a moment, she thought that there was something wrong with her ears. Jingyao. Perhaps because she couldn't believe it, Lu Tongjia's expression changed a few times. She hastily wiped away her tears and looked at Hua Jingyao with some uncertainty. Jingyao, is what you said true? Yes. It's all true, Mom. Hua Jingyao nodded. No matter what, he was willing to repair this mother-son relationship with Lu Tongjia. Lu Tongjia stood there motionlessly. She was a little emotional. She didn't think that it would be so easy to repair their mother-son relationship with Hua Jingyao. But at least this was a beginning. The great joy made her speechless. One moment, she was a little surprised, and the next moment, she was a little regretful. Would he be angry at her for treating him like that before? Her emotions were complicated. At this moment, she couldn't care less about Su Qingseng. She was only thinking about what Hua Jingyao had said. He was willing to repair their relationship again. He was willing to start all over again. Although it was ridiculous to say that, after all, they were mother and son. But she was really excited, inexplicably excited. Her shoulders were slightly shaking. She lowered her head and couldn't find her voice. Hua Jingyao looked at her. He really didn't know that Lu Tongjia cared about him so much. Inexplicably, he felt a little sad. But he didn't say a word. Although the temperature outside was getting better, it was getting late. Hua Jingyao looked in the direction of the main house. Mom, let's go in. Lu Tongjia nodded. Seeing that Hua Jingyao was about to leave, she suddenly pulled his sleeve. Jingyao. Mom. Did you mean what you said just now? She asked a little nervously and didn't know what to do. Yes. He meant it. He also wanted to divert Lu Tongjia's attention. He wanted her to stop staring at Su Qingseng. Lu Tongjia smiled again and wiped the tears on her face. Good. Good. Very good. Very good. The words good were enough to explain Lu Tongjia's current mood. When they walked to the door of the greenhouse, Lu Tongjia suddenly stopped. Jingyao. I'm sorry. Hua Jingyao was stunned by her sudden apology. He turned his head and looked at her in confusion. I'm sorry, Lu Tongjia said again. She lowered her head and seemed to be a little embarrassed. I really wasn't a good mother. Jingyao. It was difficult to admit that she was wrong. Although Lu Tongjia wanted to reconcile with Hua Jingyao, she had made too many mistakes in the past 10 years. She was actually worried that Hua Jingyao wouldn't forgive her. Mom, it's okay. It's all in the past. He had grown up. He was no longer the boy who had nightmares at night and wanted his mother to comfort him. He was not the kind of person who would go against the heavens and the earth just because of a moment of anger and make everyone unhappy. Since it was all in the past, he would let it go. Jinyao, Mom, it's all in the past. Then let it go. Don't even think about it. Lu Tongjia's heart was in turmoil. She had a lot to say, but she couldn't say a word. Hua Jinyao walked outside and took the initiative to stand with Lu Tongjia. The main house was brightly lit. Hua Jinyao walked very slowly, taking care of Lu Tongjia's emotions. Mom, go ahead. Qingsang is the person I chose. I know you have some prejudices against her, but she's really a very good woman. She's not what you think, so don't target her in the future. But Uncle saved her life, and he's a relative of the Hua family. It's impossible for the two of them not to see each other in the future. I've already told Uncle about this. What happened before was an accident. Don't take it to heart. Accident? Lu Tongjia still felt wronged for her son. Do you know that they went to buy gifts together today? Lu Tongjia looked at Hua Jinyao with heartache in her eyes. Jinyao, I don't hate her. I just feel sorry for you. You protect her wholeheartedly, but she has ulterior motives. Do you know that Mom, Hua Jinyao had a headache. Wan Xianyang and Uncle know each other. It's normal for Uncle and Qingsang to run into each other in his shop. Can't you think so much? Yes, it's normal to run into each other in Wan Xianyang's shop. Is it normal to run into each other in our house? Lu Tongjia was so angry that she almost lost control. Her voice was a little louder than before. Mom, of course it's normal for Qingsang to go to Wan Xianyang's shop to buy gifts for you. As for coming to our house, Grandpa is Uncle's uncle. It's normal for him to visit Grandpa. You're not going to blame Qingsang for Uncle's visit every time he comes, are you? Hua Jinyao didn't hear Qingsang talk about buying gifts, but he could roughly guess. It would be ridiculous to think that Su Qingsang and Zhang Yichen met each other because of a romantic relationship. He wasn't a person who couldn't tell right from wrong. But, Mom, Qingsang doesn't know about Uncle's feelings. She only sees him as an elder and a relative. If you continue like this, Qingsang might really find out. You have to know that Uncle saved Qingsang's life. If Qingsang finds out about Uncle's feelings, what will she do? Hua Jinyao's life, except for the disaster that happened to him when he was young, had been pretty much anything he wanted. However, he wasn't blindly arrogant. There was always someone better than him. There were people more powerful than him. He admitted that Zhang Yichen was one of the people who was stronger than him. Even if Zhang Yichen wasn't his rival in love or his uncle, Hua Jinyao still admired him. He had an indescribable appreciation for Zhang Yichen. He was honest and upright. Even if he liked Qingsang, he didn't do anything. His relationship with Zhang Yichen couldn't go back to how it used to be. But he didn't want to become enemies with him like this. More importantly, he didn't want Qingsang to feel embarrassed when she found out. She would feel uncomfortable when she was with Zhang Yichen in the future. It would be best to treat him as a relative and uncle. Lu Tongjia had a complicated expression on her face. She didn't like Qingsang, but Hua Jinyao's words seemed to make sense. If Qingsang didn't mean it, she kept saying it. Maybe Hua Jinyao was interested in her even if she didn't mean it. But, no buts. Mom, I trust Qingsang's character, and Uncle's character. I trust Uncle more. If you want, you can do what you did in the past, and in the future. Lu Tongjia finally stopped talking. The two of them walked to the gate, and happened to meet Zhang Yichen, who was walking out. Cousin-in-law Jinyao. Uncle. Hua Jinyao greeted Zhang Yichen very calmly. Are you leaving? It's so late. You can leave tomorrow. No need. Zhang Yichen glanced at Hua Jinyao and shook his head. I have a mission in the army. I haven't seen you for a long time, so I came to see you. Okay, but it's so late. Be careful on the road, Uncle. I know. Thank you. Zhang Yichen bowed, said goodbye to Lu Tongjia, and then left. He got into the car. After starting the car, Zhang Yichen glanced at the Hua family's gate again. His eyes were gloomy. He thought of Su Qingsang, who came in from the garden when he sent old Master Hua back to his room. She stood at the corner of the stairs and saw him coming downstairs. She called him. Uncle. Zhang Yichen stopped and looked at Su Qingsang, not knowing why she called him. Uncle, I haven't thanked you for what happened in Sea City last time. Zhang Yichen frowned, and his expression was a little cold. You already thanked me at the hospital. That's different. Su Qingsang's eyes were clear, and there was a hidden meaning in them. It's not enough to thank you for saving my life. Zhang Yichen's expression became more and more serious, but Su Qingsang suddenly smiled. Uncle, I know what you're capable of, and I'm afraid that with your status, you won't need me. But I still have to say, if you need me in the future, don't hesitate to ask. I'll do my best. Even if I can't do it, Jingyao will help me. After all, you're Jinyao's uncle, and I'm Jinyao's wife. That will never change. Zhang Yichen looked at her face and seemed to understand. Su Qingsang turned her body to the side. Uncle, you're not an ordinary person, so you should have a lot of work to do. I won't see you out. Take care, uncle. He understood at that moment that she must have known. She knew what he was thinking, and she also knew the deepest secret in his heart. Yes, she was such a smart woman. Even if he tried to restrain himself, how could she not see it? He didn't expect that she would directly ask him to leave after she found out. She would reveal that kind of information again. At that moment, he was really crazy with jealousy. He was jealous of Hu Jinyao. Thinking of the tone of her last sentence, he suddenly smiled. Forget it. He had made 2 great contributions this time, and the higher-ups couldn't reward him anymore. After all, he was not old enough. If he continued to rise, it would be too fast. The higher-ups wanted him to go to the southwest to train the newly established secret force. Since that was the case, he would accept the task. He would have to stay there for at least 2 or 3 years. In another 2 or 3 years, he might forget about these thoughts. Zhang Yichen took a deep look at the old house of the Hu family, then started the car and left. This time, he wouldn't come back for a while. When Hu Jinyao returned to his room, Su Qingsang had just finished the video call with Li Qianxue. As soon as she went upstairs, she received a video call from Li Qianxue. Li Qianxue really cared about her. Today was Lu Tongjia's birthday. She was always worried that if the gift wasn't to Lu Tongjia's liking, she would make things difficult for her poor daughter again. Su Qingsang had to repeatedly say that Lu Tongjia liked the bracelet very much. Although it wasn't a big party, the atmosphere was good, so she didn't have to worry. Who are you talking to? She seemed to have heard her talking before she entered the room. She came in and saw her lying on the bed with her phone in her hand, which confirmed her guess. What do you think? Mother-in-law. Smart. Su Qingsang sat up. My mother knew it was your mother's birthday, so she was very nervous. She was afraid that I didn't give her a good gift, and made your mother unhappy. In fact, Lu Tongjia was indeed unhappy. Thinking of this, Su Qingsang felt a little embarrassed. She had wanted to repair the relationship between Hu Jinyao and Lu Tongjia, but she didn't expect that not only would it not be repaired, but it would also make Lu Tongjia so angry at her. I didn't expect that my flattery would backfire. I made your mother completely angry. That's not true. My mother is quite happy. Hu Jinyao walked to her side and sat down, but his words made Su Qingsang laugh. She turned her face to look at Hu Jinyao, with a bit of sarcasm in her eyes. Hu Jinyao, you're quite good at lying through your teeth, aren't you? What do you mean by lying through my teeth? Your mother is forcing me to divorce you, but I'm not going to marry you. Why is she still happy? Judging from Lu Tongjia's attitude just now, not to mention divorce her, she would even eat her heart raw. She asked you to divorce her, so you divorced her? Didn't you agree? It doesn't matter whether I agree or not. The important thing is whether you agree or not. As Su Qingsang said this, she straightened up and held Hu Jinyao's face with both hands. Her expression changed to a serious one. Or, you've already promised your mother to divorce me, so your mother is happy? Hu Jinyao's reaction was to pull her hand down, put it to his lips and bite it. Nonsense again. Su Qingsang pulled her hand back with force. She glared at Hu Jinyao and said, If I'm not talking nonsense, then please tell me, young Master Hua. What do you plan to do with me now? Hu Jinyao grabbed her hand again, and held it in his arms. He leaned forward and kissed her on the lips. What do I plan to do with you? Hold hands for the rest of our lives and grow old together. What do you think? He said it in a joking tone, but he sounded very serious. Su Qingseng looked at him, and her heart skipped a beat. However, thinking of Hua Jinyao's attitude just now, she didn't believe him. You want to spend the rest of your life with me? Will your mother agree? She was convinced by me. Hua Jinyao's words made Su Qingseng's eyes widen. She couldn't believe it. How did you convince her? She had always felt that making Lu Tongjia accept her was as difficult as climbing the Himalayas. Guess. Are you going to tell me or not? Su Qingseng couldn't help but pinch her waist. She was still trying to keep her in suspense. I'll tell you if you kiss me. Su Qingseng rolled her eyes at him, leaned over, and kissed him on the lips. Hua Jinyao wasn't satisfied. He held her waist and deepened the kiss, until Su Qingseng was out of breath. He didn't let her go until she was out of breath. I'll tell my mother. I'll tell her that you're the only wife I plan to marry in my life. If she insists on divorcing me, I won't marry anyone else in the future. I'll stay single until I'm old. If she's willing, I don't care. Why was this man so flippant? Su Qingseng looked at the expression on his face. She should have been moved, but she wanted to laugh at his flippant attitude. Will your mother agree if you say that? What else? Hua Jinyao looked at her and smiled. She can't really let me stay single forever, can she? Then our branch will have no descendants. Su Qingseng patted Hua Jinyao's shoulder hard. However, she reached out to hold his waist and rubbed her face against his chest. Your mother won't object to it anymore, will she? If I'm not wrong, she probably won't. Su Qingseng was relieved. In fact, she wasn't afraid that Lu Tongjia would object. However, if the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law didn't get along and were always on opposite sides, she would feel very embarrassed. More importantly, Hua Jinyao felt that way. It wasn't that he didn't love Lu Tongjia anymore, and she didn't want to face Lu Tongjia's sarcasm every time she returned to the Hua family. That's great, Hua Jinyao. That's great. Chapter 622. Hua Jinyao's hand gently stroked her back. He could feel the relief and disbelief in her voice. He gently patted her back. Don't worry. My mother knows. Even if Lu Tongjia really didn't want to believe it, it didn't matter. If they got along well, they could spend more time together. If they couldn't, they didn't have to stay together. As long as he was there, he would protect her. It was only a matter of time, whether Lu Tongjia accepted it or not. Su Qingseng looked at him and smiled at him. She wasn't particularly worried about it, nor did she particularly care about it. She just wanted to have a good relationship with the Hua family, instead of being hostile every time they met. Especially when that person was Hua Jinyao's mother. She didn't want that to happen. After saying what she wanted to say, she pushed his body and said, "Excuse me, I'm going to take a shower." When she was about to get up, Hua Jinyao suddenly held her hand. He turned over and pressed his body on top of hers. She was stunned, blinked, and looked at Hua Jinyao. What's wrong? The bracelet you wore today is very beautiful. My mother likes it very much. Did you pick it out from Xianyang? Yes. Alone? Xianyang didn't accompany you? No. Su Qingseng shook her head, looked at Hua Jinyao and added, I met my uncle. He took me upstairs to pick it out. What a coincidence. Su Qingseng didn't like to hear his sarcastic words. Yes. What a coincidence. I made an appointment with him to pick out jewelry together. Then we did something else. As she spoke, she held Hua Jinyao's face with both hands. She raised her chin slightly, and the corners of her eyes were full of seduction. Guess what else we did? No matter what we did, I was jealous. Hua Jinyao grabbed her hand, leaned over, and bit her lips. Su Qingseng couldn't help but bite back in pain. As they nibbled, their lips were glued together. Hua Jinyao's kiss was a little rough, which showed that he was indeed unhappy. Su Qingseng didn't care. She did run into Zhang Yichen, and they did pick out a gift for Lu Tongjia together. She did not think there was anything to hide. Even if Zhang Yichen had feelings for her, he was a relative of the Hua family, and had saved her life. She couldn't treat him as a stranger, or hate him. She believed that as long as she behaved properly, she would not be afraid of being criticized. Yes, she knew what Zhang Yichen was thinking, even if he had never shown it in front of her. But she still knew. During those few days in Sea City, she had a fever and was dizzy. He thought he was going to die a few times. As her consciousness blurred, a liquid flowed into her lips. She was very thirsty. He didn't care about anything else as he gulped down the food. At that time, she didn't know that she had drunk Zhang Yichen's blood. There was no light in the narrow space. Everything depended on feeling. She remembered a dazed moment of consciousness. She was thirsty and hungry. His lips were dry and cracked, and it was the most uncomfortable time. At that moment, the warm wrist was placed next to her lips. She only realized that something was wrong after taking 2 sips. That smell was not water. It was blood. She wanted to open her eyes, but even if she did, she couldn't see anything in the darkness. She heard Zhang Yichen's breathing and his heartbeat. After she knew what she was drinking, she couldn't drink anymore. At that moment in a daze, she heard Zhang Yichen's words. Very softly, "You have to live. You have to live." The man's voice was hoarse, and he was weak from excessive blood loss. 2 simple words, but they contained too many emotions. Su Qingsang had a fever and was in a daze, but in the end, she could only let herself pass out. She was not stupid. She could understand some things after connecting the dots. When she woke up in Sea City and heard that she was saved by Zhang Yichen, she understood everything. But she would rather not understand anything. She couldn't ask Zhang Yichen about it, nor could she show any extra attention to him. She was married, and she had someone she loved. She could only let Zhang Yichen down. Her attitude today was not very good. It could even be said that she was quite cold-blooded. She treated her savior like that. She could be considered a heartless person. But she had no choice. Who was Zhang Yichen? He was a senior colonel, and he was about to be promoted. He was also a relative of the Hu family. It was impossible, and absolutely not allowed, for there to be even the slightest hint of ambiguity between them. Even if it was just a thought, it wouldn't do. Her lips hurt again, and she came back to her senses. Hu Jinyao was staring at her face. His eyes were burning, and there was a hint of dissatisfaction in them. She suddenly smiled. When she smiled, Hu Jinyao became even angrier. "TSK, thinking about another man in front of me. Su Qingsang, you don't want to live, do you?" "Yes." Su Qingsang nodded and admitted it generously. Wrapping her arms around his neck, she leaned over and bit him on the lips. "I want to die." She put her lips close to his ear and said very slowly, "I want to die." Hu Jinyao's eyes darkened, and his eyes turned red. He wanted to swallow this woman alive. At that moment, Su Qingsang rolled over and pressed him under her body. "You want me to die?" Su Qingsang purposely let out a sigh when she said the word die. At this moment, Su Qingsang was like a demon. Hu Jinyao believed that he was willing to turn into Tang Sung and let her squeeze him dry. "Don't worry." Hu Jinyao pulled her waist into his arms. "Tonight you're dead." Su Qingsang responded to him with a series of soft laughter. Those thoughts had already been tossed beyond the highest heavens at this moment. There was only her and him in front of them. They had each other. When she got up in the morning, old Master Hua and Hu Mingguang were still there. Su Qingsang and Hu Jinyao had gone too far last night. She almost couldn't get up. If she hadn't remembered that this was the Hu family at the last minute, she would have slept until noon. When she passed by Lu Tongjia, she found that although Lu Tongjia's face wasn't kind, it was at least gentle. "Grandpa, Dad, Mom, Grandpa, Dad, Auntie." Su Qingsang also greeted them. However, the way she addressed them was a little different. Lu Tongjia frowned and looked at Su Qingsang in front of her. Her lips moved, but she wanted to say something, but she didn't. The weather was a little hot, and Su Qingsang was wearing a silk shirt today. Lu Tongjia sat diagonally to her side. Because the collar of Su Qingsang's shirt was a little big, from her angle, she could see a kiss mark on Su Qingsang's collarbone. Her expression was a little strange. Halfway through the meal, Hu Mingguang glanced at Hu Jinyao. "Hu Yifun's plan has been interrupted for a long time. We don't know how much manpower and material resources we invested in it. Don't worry about that plan. I've already asked someone to start again." That was Qi Shiwei's painstaking effort. He wouldn't let anyone else touch it. Even if Hu Jinyao wanted to do it, he had to be personally involved. You. Hua Mingguang still felt a little uncomfortable when he thought of what Hu Jingyao had done. However, he didn't say anything else. Lu Tongjia tugged at Hua Mingguang's sleeve. She had made up her mind to repair her relationship with Hu Jingyao. She wouldn't let her son be unhappy. The meal was peaceful. Lu Tongjia saw the hickey on Su Qingsang's neck several times. She wanted to ask when they were planning to have children, but she couldn't bring herself to ask. Forget it. Our relationship has just recovered. If there's anything else, we'll talk about it later. Hu Jingyao was about to leave after dinner. However, he seemed to have thought of something and went to the kitchen. If Lu Tongjia wasn't responsible for the incident on the Dragon Boat Festival, then who could it be? If the Hua family had such a person with evil intentions, it would definitely be an unpredictable bomb to the Hua family. He would not allow such a person to exist in his family. He called Auntie Zhou, Auntie Wang, Uncle Cheng, Xiao Xia and Xiao Jiang over. Hu Jingyao rarely interfered with family affairs. Lu Tongjia was in charge of most of them. Seeing him like this, they were all startled. The Hua family's house was their own place, and the surveillance cameras were only installed outside the house. Therefore, he could only ask these people about what happened on the day of the Dragon Boat Festival. Uncle Cheng came out first to explain the situation. Because the Hua family had dinner outside that day, the servants in the house didn't have to do anything. After dinner, the Hua family and the guests came back. The kitchen began to make soup to sober up. Then, everyone was sent to their respective rooms. When Su Qingsang got into the car, she found that Hu Jingyao didn't look too good. What's wrong? Did he have a conflict with Lu Tongjia again? Hu Jingyao narrowed his eyes and said coldly, I realized that I let Su Peijian go too easy on her, by letting her go to jail for 5 years. Su Qingsang froze for a moment when she heard those words that came out of nowhere. Looking at Hu Jingyao, she thought of what Lu Tongjia had said the day before. She suddenly thought of something. The person who drugged Uncle was Su Peijian? Hu Jingyao glanced at her. The look in his eyes confirmed everything. Is she crazy? Su Qingsang suddenly closed her eyes. When she opened them again, she was a little unsure. No, she wanted to say that how would she know? However, she thought of something else. It wasn't the first day that Zhang Yichen had feelings for her. She didn't know, but others could see it clearly. Su Peijian was a smart person, and she was deliberately targeting her. Of course, she wouldn't miss any opportunity. She didn't say the second half of the sentence, and Hu Jingyao didn't care. He really didn't want Su Qingsang to know about Zhang Yichen's feelings. It was good that she didn't know. She's in jail now. Hu Jingyao's eyes flashed with ruthlessness. If you want her to go to jail for a few more years, it's not impossible. Those who bullied his woman had to pay the price. He didn't know about it before. If he knew, he wouldn't let Su Peijian go so easily. Speaking of which, Su Peijian hadn't done anything evil like murder or arson, but everything she had done had stepped on Hu Jinyao's bottom line. Chapter 623. Let Su Peijian stay in prison for a few more years? When Su Qingsang thought of this possibility, the first person she thought of was Xiang Kaiping. When Su Peijian came out, how old would Xiang Kaiping be? Don't touch her for now. Honey, I don't like your soft-heartedness. It's not that I'm soft-hearted. I want to see her. Ever since Su Peijian had been in prison, Su Qingsang hadn't visited Su Peijian. They were sisters. She thought that she might need to visit her once. It could be considered as a closure. I don't think there's anything to see. Hu Jingyao had an indescribable hatred for Su Peijian. If you want, it's easy to lock her up for the rest of her life. It was even easier to make Su Peijian live a life worse than death. It's okay. She's already locked up. What can she do to me? I'll go see her. After all, she and Su Peijian were sisters. Moreover, she and Xiang Kaiping, and Su Peijian and Li Qinxue were related. Okay. Hu Jingyao squeezed her hand. No matter what. Don't be soft-hearted. Just meet her once. Okay. Su Peijian was wearing an orange prison uniform. There was her number on her right chest. Her long hair had been cut short long ago. Her hair was short, and her face was still bright, but it was a little more pale and haggard. In that pale and haggard, there was also some unwillingness and resentment. It hadn't been long enough for her to melt away all the hostility in her body, but it was enough. A completely different person. This was the first time Su Qingsang had seen Su Peijian like this. Hehe. When Su Peijian saw Su Qingsang appear, she laughed. I didn't expect that you would be the one who came to see me on the visiting day. I'm really flattered. When she said the last 4 words, she deliberately paused. Su Qingsang didn't like Su Peijian like this. Sharp and mean. I thought that the 2 months you spent in prison would be enough for you to reflect on the mistakes you've made. Mistakes? What did I do wrong? As Su Peijian said this, the hatred in her eyes deepened. That woman gave me that plan. What's wrong with me using it? Hua Yifan was also a descendant of the Hua family. What was the difference between him and Hua Jingyao? What did I do wrong? Taking without asking is a thief. Later, Hua Jingyao told her about the case. She could roughly guess a few things. Su Peijian didn't steal it. He had given it to her. But he had asked her to give it to Hua Jingyao, not to use it herself. Ha 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 ha. Su Peijian laughed. All right. Did you come here today to laugh at me? If that's the case, then I won't be accompanying you. She stood up and was about to leave when Su Qingsang suddenly said, You drugged Hua Jinyao's uncle during the Dragon Boat Festival, didn't you? Su Peijian stopped in her tracks. She suddenly moved closer to Su Qingsang, her eyes gleaming with anticipation. Looks like you found out. What? Did Hua Jinyao suspect you? She doesn't want you anymore. You wanted to destroy me, destroy Jinyao. Su Peijian, you've done so many things. Do you think Jinyao's imprisonment was unjust? It was rare for Su Qingsang to be so agitated, but seeing Su Peijian being so stubborn, she was very angry. Do you know that after your accident, Auntie came to me? Su Peijian was stunned for a moment. She raised her head and looked at Su Qingsang. Auntie came to beg me, and then she went to beg Jinyao. Originally, if you just took the plan, Jinyao wouldn't do anything to you. But you came up with such a vicious way to deal with me in Lin City. Jinyao couldn't just do nothing. I can't be a saint. I can pretend that nothing happened. But do you know that Auntie is innocent? She's so old, but she still came out to beg for help for you. You probably didn't see that Auntie's hair is mostly white, right? Su Peijian's face was a little stiff. That woman's hair was white? She didn't know. Xiang Kaiping came to visit her in prison, but she refused to see her. If it weren't for Su Qingsang's current identity as the young mistress of the Hua family, she wouldn't have wanted to see her when the prison guards brought her out. She didn't want to see anyone. You hate the heavens, hate the earth, hate everyone in this world. Have you ever thought about how many people in this world love you? If you weren't so extreme, you might have married Hua Yifan by now. No matter how bad Hua Yifan is, he's still the vice president of Tianyu Group. If you were willing to take a step back and get along with me, even if we couldn't be as close as sisters, at least we wouldn't be like enemies like we are now. You ignore the good intentions of others. You don't use your advantages. All you think about is hatred and revenge. Is this my fault? Do you know that before you drugged me, Grandpa told Mom that if you were willing to come back, the door of the Su family would always be open for you? Yusin came to me and said that he wanted to help you. Su Peijian, you're also someone who had a good hand. Why did you ruin your good hand? Su Peijian's body sat down. She sat there motionless, her expression a little stiff. Do you know that there are some people in this world who are 1,000 times, 10,000 times more miserable than you? But not everyone wants to take revenge, right? She thought of Qi Shiwei. In terms of misery, Qi Shiwei was much more miserable than Su Peijian. She shook her head. There were some things that had to be said. Everyone was smart, so there was no point in saying any more. Su Peijian, your sentence isn't long. It's only 5 years. If you behave well, you might be able to get out in less than 3 years. Are you sure that you want to continue spending the rest of your life in hatred, jealousy, and endless revenge against others? You have to know that even if you come out after 5 years in prison, you're only 30 years old. Su Peijian, I've said everything I wanted to say. After today, I won't come to see you again. If you come out in a few years and are willing to turn over a new leaf, I believe that both Dad and Auntie will still recognize you as their daughter. If you're not willing, I'll still say the same thing. No matter what you want to do, I'm not afraid of you. I'll accompany you to the end. Su Qingseng rarely spoke so much. She felt a little dry. She stood up and took one last look at Su Peijian. Su Peijian, you're on your own. Su Qingseng picked up her bag and turned to leave. When she got into her car, her emotions had completely calmed down. Thinking about Su Peijian's appearance just now, she took out her phone and called Su Qinghui. Qingseng? Since the last time Su Qinghui and Su Qingseng had a conflict because of Su Peijian, Su Qinghui hadn't contacted Su Qingseng. He called Su Qingseng several times, but she didn't answer. He knew that she still blamed him for being biased toward Su Peijian for no reason. However, some things had become a habit of his in more than 12 years of ignorance. He tried to change slowly in the future, but Su Qingseng seemed to not want to give him a chance, just like Li Qianxue. Su Qinghui was inexplicably excited when he received Su Qingseng's call. Qingseng, you called me? Su Qingseng could hear his excitement, and her heart was a little bitter. She shook her head, and her voice was very soft. Dad, I called to tell you that something happened to Su Peijian. She's now in Rong City prison. What? If you have time, come and see her. No, how did something happen to her? Isn't she in Lin City? No, I haven't seen her for a long time. Yushi, if there's anything, wait until you come to Rong City. It's not clear on the phone, but I think you'll want to see her and talk to her. Perhaps with the care and companionship of her family, Su Peijian would be less hostile and more peaceful. Qingseng, can you say something first? Dad, you'll know when you come. I still have something to do, so I'll hang up first. After saying this, Su Qingseng hung up the phone. She didn't hate Su Qinghui, but she really couldn't help but mind him thinking of her as a bad person as soon as something happened to her. She also knew that she couldn't ignore Su Qinghui for the rest of her life. But she had to give her some time to slowly digest the fact that she would never be able to be as close as father and daughter to Su Qinghui in this life. She put down the phone and was about to start the car to leave, but she found that a person got out of a taxi on the opposite road. The somewhat old, slightly haggard face was impressively Xiang Kaiping. She saw Xiang Kaiping, and Xiang Kaiping also saw her. Looking at the prison gate behind her, Xiang Kaiping didn't expect Su Qingseng to come to see Su Peijian. This really surprised her. Today was the once-a-month prison visit day. She came very early. The last time she came to see Su Peijian didn't want to see her. If she missed it today, it would be next month. Suddenly seeing Su Qingseng, she stood there and didn't move. Their eyes met. Even across the road, Su Qingseng could see Xiang Kaiping's face, which had aged more than 10 years. Her heart trembled. Su Qingseng quickly got out of the car and ran in Xiang Kaiping's direction. Auntie, you're here to see Peijian? She was a little unconfident. After all, her daughter was sent to prison by Hu Jinniao. Yes. Strangely, there was no resentment or dissatisfaction in Xiang Kaiping's eyes. Today is prison visit day. Su Qingseng looked at the taxi that had already left. Auntie, hurry up and go. I'll wait for you here. I'll send you back later. Xiang Kaiping's lips moved. She wanted to refuse, but in the end she didn't. She was old and didn't understand the tricks of young people. The last time she took a taxi, the driver left. She walked for more than half an hour before she found the bus stop. Sorry to trouble you. Su Qingseng shook her head. Auntie, don't stand on ceremony. Hurry up and go. Xiang Kaiping turned around and walked towards the prison gate. Thinking of the last time she came, she turned back and glanced at Su Qingseng. You came to see her. Have you seen her? Yes. She saw you. Yes. At first she didn't want to see her, but since Su Qingseng was here, she was naturally prepared. The Hu family had a good relationship with all parties in Rong City. If there was any trouble, it would only be a phone call. Hearing this, Xiang Kaiping's expression relaxed a little. If Su Peijian was willing to see Su Qingseng, did it mean that she was willing to see her? Su Qingseng waited for Xiang Kaiping in the car for half an hour. She finally came out. Her complexion was better than when she went in. She quickly started the car and parked the car beside Xiang Kaiping. Auntie, get in the car. Xiang Kaiping's eyes were red as if she had cried. Su Qingseng wanted to ask, But in the end, she couldn't. After she fastened her seat belt and started the car, Xiang Kaiping wiped her tears away. You've lost weight and look haggard. Su Qingseng knew that she was talking about Su Peijian. It's okay. When she comes out, take good care of yourself. You'll get better. Yes. Xiang Kaiping smiled bitterly. I don't know if I'll be able to live until she comes out. Auntie, don't say that. You'll live to a ripe old age. I don't expect to live to a ripe old age. If I can live until she comes out, I'll persuade her to live a good life and know her place. I'll find a man and have a child. If I can see that day, I'll be able to die in peace. Su Qingseng didn't know how to respond. She had said what she had said today, but she really didn't know if Su Peijian would change in 5 years. She didn't speak, and Xiang Kaiping didn't want her to. The prison was far away. It was in the suburbs. It would take more than 2 hours to drive back. She looked out of the window and almost said to herself, she's a good child. I just lost my mind for a moment. I regret it. It's all my fault. Of course, I shouldn't have abandoned her. I shouldn't have thought that Su Qinghui would teach her well. It's all my fault. Xiang Kaiping nagged for a long time. Sometimes Su Qingseng would respond, and sometimes she would just listen to Xiang Kaiping. Just like that, they arrived at the small villa where Xiang Kaiping lived. The car stopped. After more than 2 hours in the car, Xiang Kaiping was obviously tired. She didn't rush to get out of the car. Instead, she glanced at Su Qingseng. Qingseng, thank you. You're welcome, Auntie. You're a good child. Xiang Kaiping's eyes were a little red. Jingyao is lucky to marry you. Auntie, it's okay. You can go. I'm going back. Xiang Kaiping got out of the car. She was in a much better mood when she saw her daughter. However, that silhouette still looked lonely, old, and had a kind of fragility that no one could look at directly. What's wrong? Hua Jingyao looked at Su Qingseng, who had been silent since she got home. He reached out and pulled her into his arms, letting her sit on his lap. You're in a bad mood? What happened? About the hospital? Su Qingseng shook her head. About Su Peijian? You went to see her? What did she say? Hua Jingyao really hated Su Peijian to the extreme. Nothing. Su Qingseng put her arms around his waist and said in a low voice, I just met Auntie. Jingyao, do you know? I saw Auntie today and realized that she's more than 10 years older. She's about the same age as my mother. But Su Qingseng didn't finish her sentence. Hua Jingyao understood what she meant. You're not asking me to get Su Peijian out, are you? Absolutely not. No. Su Qingseng shook her head. She sat up straight and looked at Hua Jingyao. She had been thinking about this all day. In fact, she wasn't sure if Hua Jingyao would agree. Chapter 624. He didn't speak, and the living room was very quiet for a while. It was a little hot, and Su Qingseng was a little sweaty in Hua Jingyao's arms. She put her hands on Hua Jingyao's shoulders. This idea was the result of Su Qingseng's careful consideration today. I know you might be unhappy, but Auntie is alone. Even with a nanny, there might be some things that can't be taken care of. Also, Su Peijian will be locked up in prison for 4 to 5 years. When she comes out, I don't know what the situation will be. If we bring Auntie to live with us, at least she won't be so lonely. What do you think? Hua Jingyao looked at her. Have you decided? Not really. I'm asking you what you think. If you don't come, I won't go to pick her up. But I think even if Auntie comes, we won't have any problems getting along. You know, Auntie is a good person. She takes good care of us in Lin City. I really don't want to see her alone. If they hadn't been together for the past few months, Su Qingseng would have sighed at most. But after those months and what Xiang Kaiping had done for her, she couldn't bear to see her alone. She didn't want to see her in such a miserable and lonely old age. Hua Jingyao held her hand and wrapped it in his palm. Her hand was very slender, not the kind of hand that was made of flesh. Because it was often disinfected during surgery, it was transparent and white. His fingertips slid across her palm bit by bit, looking at the lines on it. Honey, look at this emotional line. It's too deep and too long. At first glance, you can tell that she's a person who values relationships. Su Qingseng listened to his nonsense, but she couldn't laugh. How come I didn't know that you can tell fortunes? All right. If you want to say that I'm indecisive, just say it. But I really don't want to see Auntie like this. Okay. Hua Jingyao nodded, held her hand, and stared at Su Qingsong's face. Just when she thought that he would agree, he suddenly became serious. You want Auntie to move in with us? Yes. Have you thought that she will agree? Well, Su Qingsong thought of Xiang Caiping's stubborn side. I will persuade her. Although Xiang Caiping had a nanny at home now, the nanny would come home. Even if he was by her side 24/7. That feeling wasn't something that could be compared to being with a relative or family member. All right. You can convince her, but what about me? You. Su Peijian is her daughter. Who sent Su Peijian to prison? Even if Xiang Caiping didn't hate Su Peijian, she couldn't possibly not hold a grudge against her, right? Su Qingsong was speechless. Her voice weakened. Maybe Auntie doesn't blame you. Hua Jingyao continued. It's not my fault. But I sent her daughter to prison. It's a fact that I ignored her when she came to me. Su Qingsong understood what he meant, but she said, I'm not that kind of person. She's not, but Su Peijian is. Hua Jingyao knew that Su Qingsong meant well, but some people really didn't deserve to be treated well. After Su Peijian gets out of prison, do you think she'll thank you for taking care of her mother? Or does she hate you for snatching away her only family, her only motherly love? I didn't. You didn't, but she'll think you did. Hua Jingyao didn't mind giving her a good lesson. Do you know why Su Peijian has become what she is today? She has a paranoid personality, that kind of person. To put it bluntly, you can't afford to offend her. She will only believe what she has already decided. As for anything else, she doesn't care. Qingsong, if you really care about Auntie, visit her more often when you're free. I believe she will be very happy. But if you want to bring her to live with you, I don't think it's appropriate. Su Qingsong didn't say anything, but her face darkened. Hua Jinyao's analysis was reasonable, but Jinyao will only take care of her for a few years. When Su Peijian gets out of prison, we'll return Auntie to her. Besides, you said that we don't know what will happen to her when she gets out. In that case, why don't we let Auntie enjoy the warmth of a family first? Hua Jingyao knew that she was stubborn, but he didn't expect her to be so stubborn. Qingsong, you have to let her enjoy the warmth of a family. What about your mother? Seeing that she didn't react for a while, Hua Jingyao didn't mind clarifying. Your mother, Ms. Li Qianxue, hates two people in her life. There are two people I hate the most in my life. One is your father. Now that they are divorced, the other is Auntie. Then Mrs. Hua, when you bring Auntie to take care of and give her the warmth of a family, where do you put your mother? Su Qingsong looked at him blankly. Her expression was a little silly and a little dazed. Li Qianxue? Oh right, she had actually forgotten about Li Qianxue. Hua Jingyao shook his head with a smile and reached out to gently flick her forehead. You. But, no buts. Hua Jingyao's voice was very serious. Qingsong, sometimes life is such a cruel multiple-choice question. It's either one or two. There's no three. Su Qingsong's lips opened and closed and opened again. She thought of the back of Xiang Caiping when she got out of the car today, and the way she staggered into the prison gate. She was actually very upset. But Hua Jingyao was right about one thing. Li Qianxue and Xiang Caiping couldn't coexist. Li Qianxue wasn't in Rong City now. If she were in Rong City and knew that she was going to take care of Xiang Caiping, she would definitely object. This action would definitely affect the mother-daughter relationship between her and Li Qianxue. Su Qingsong said the word, I, and lowered her head. Hua Jingyao understood her feelings. Xiang Caiping was also very good to him, and he was also very willing to take care of her. However, there was no need to cause unnecessary trouble. He wasn't afraid of trouble, but he didn't want Su Qingsong to face it. I didn't think that much. I'm not saying that I don't respect my mother. Su Qingsong buried her head in his chest. Her voice was very soft. If he hadn't been so close, he would have almost missed it. I just feel sorry for Auntie. Those few months, Auntie was really good to her. Do you still remember? She knitted a sweater for me. That sweater is still in the closet upstairs. She made local home-cooked dishes for me in Lin City. And every day, She would think of ways to be good to me. I know that if you want to say that she treated me like her daughter, that's because she treated me like her daughter. These good things were originally for Su Peijian. But Hu Jingyao, I couldn't help it. I couldn't treat her like a stranger. Not to mention that she was hit by a car in order to buy a piece jade for me. She almost died, and was almost paralyzed. Her voice was broken. She raised her head to look at Hu Jingyao with tears in her eyes. I just feel sorry for her. Her man was stolen, and because of a moment of anger, she abandoned her daughter and ran away. It wasn't easy for her to recognize the daughter, but she was a fake. When she recognized the real daughter, she went to prison. If it were someone else with a weaker mind, they might have committed suicide. I know, but you can't offend your own mother for someone else's mother, right? Hu Jingyao wrapped her body in his arms and gently patted her back. Qingseng, you've been with Auntie for a few months and you have feelings for her. I understand that you want to take care of her, but there are some things in this world that can't be helped. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Su Qingseng didn't speak. She knew. If she wanted to take care of a lonely old man today, maybe Li Qinxue wouldn't have any objections. But that person was Xiang Kaiping, so she couldn't. But what did it have to do with Xiang Kaiping? Alright, don't think about it. Hu Jingyao held her face with both hands and made her look at him. I don't think Auntie will be willing to live with us. Xiang Kaiping was a very proud person. The worse her situation was, the more unwilling she would be to accept help from others. After all, who would want to bear the pity of others? Su Qingseng knew that, but she felt sad. Hu Jingyao saw that she was so sad, so he leaned over and kissed her on the lips. Honey, why don't we go out and play? Go out and play? Where? She wasn't in the mood at all. You see, we didn't have a honeymoon when we got married. Why don't we find a place to have fun for a few days? Su Qingseng glanced at Hu Jingyao and suddenly smiled. Jingyao, don't be like this. I'll adjust myself. She buried her face in his chest and put her arms around his waist. Hu Jingyao, thank you. Actually, it's good to go out for a walk. It doesn't have to be for relaxation. We can also go out and play. How about we take it as a honeymoon? Su Qingseng rubbed her face against his chest. Are you kidding me? You've been very busy recently. Can you really leave your company? Hu Jingyao frowned and thought of the ongoing case. He really didn't have time. Next month. Hu Jingyao thought of something. Next month, I'm going to Italy to talk about a contract. Will you go with me? Let's talk about it then. I still have to take the exam. Recently, the hospital had been very busy. She had an exam and a paper to write. Recently, because of these things, a lot of progress had been delayed. Didn't you say that the exam is at the end of the month? After you finish the exam, we can go at the beginning of next month. Just take it as a relaxation. How about it? Okay. Su Qingseng couldn't find a reason to refuse. She couldn't refuse his kindness, so she felt a lot better. I haven't been to Italy yet. Then it's settled. We can also have fun in Europe for a few days. Okay, I'll listen to you. Su Qinghui sat across from Su Qingseng. The father and daughter hadn't seen each other for a few months, but they didn't say anything to each other. Su Qingseng was expressionless. Su Qinghui looked at her with a guilty expression. After getting off the plane, he went to Su Qingseng's hospital almost without rest. He was lucky that Su Qingseng just got off work. She didn't bring Su Qinghui home, but to a nearby hotel. They sat in a corner of the hotel's magnificent restaurant. The whispers of other guests at the other tables didn't affect their conversation at all. Her phone rang. Su Qingseng glanced at Su Qinghui and picked up the phone. Hu Jingyao had a gathering with his childhood friends tonight. He asked her if she wanted to go. No need. I have something to do. Junxing is back. It's rare for him to come back. If you're not particularly busy, I'll come pick you up. Su Qingseng's voice was very soft. You can play with them. My dad is here. Hu Jingyao understood. Okay, you go ahead. I'll come to see you later. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Su Qingseng looked at Su Qinghui in front of her. Time really treated this man well. He was already middle-aged, but he still looked elegant and stylish. His temperament didn't look like a businessman at all. People would believe that he was a professor at some university. I know you're here to know about Su Peijian, I'll tell you. Qing sang. Su Qinghui interrupted her and took out a box from his pocket. This is a gift I bought for you when I went to France last time. It's for you. Su Qingsang looked at the box. She wasn't unfamiliar with the logo on it. She wasn't in a hurry to take it. Instead, she looked at Su Qinghui. Su Peijian, she asked for it. If you want to plead for her, or want Hu Jiniao to let her off, you don't have to say anything. You don't have to say anything. It was rare for her to be so unyielding in front of Su Qinghui. Half of it was because she really hated what Su Peijian had done, and the other half was because she was also a little uncomfortable with Su Qinghui's previous actions. Su Qinghui's expression was a little awkward. He rarely showed such a side in front of his children. It's not that. Qing sang. I didn't mean to plead for Peijian. I just saw this gift when I went to France last time, and thought it was very suitable for you. His voice was very soft. Ever since the two daughters switched back, whether it was Li Qianxue or Su Qingsang, he had always been a little less confident. His sincere eyes didn't seem to be fake. The sincerity in his eyes didn't seem to be fake. Su Qingsang felt a little awkward and took the small box. Thank you, Dad. You're welcome. Su Qinghui called the waiter and began to order. He then asked Su Qingsang what she liked to eat. Su Qingsang had been here with Hu Jiniao before, so she randomly ordered a dish. Su Qinghui didn't force her. The two of them ordered 4 dishes and a soup. After the waiter left, he looked at Su Qingsang with a faintly concerned expression. How have you been recently? Has Hu Jiniao been treating you well? Very well. Although the relationship between Hu Jiniao and Lu Tongjia couldn't be built overnight, it was obvious that they had become much closer recently. They didn't go back to the old mansion. Occasionally, Lu Tongjia would come over for dinner. That's good, that's good. After saying this, Su Qinghui couldn't find anything else to say. He picked up the teacup in front of him and poured a cup of tea for himself and a cup for Su Qingsang. He didn't speak. Su Qingsang had been estranged from him for a long time. She couldn't find anything to say, so she could only speak first. Dad, Su Peijian is now serving her sentence in Rong City Prison. Her crime is theft of trade secrets. Before Qing sang, I really just wanted to see you. Since Peijian went to prison, she must have done something wrong. I know everything. He didn't say what he knew, but some words were already his attitude. Su Qingsang was stunned for a moment. Dad, you should listen to it. In Su Qinghui's heart, Su Peijian was his most beloved daughter. Now that things had become like this, he should know. He briefly told her what Su Peijian had done. She drugged Zhang Yichen in Rong City, and then she went to Lin City and drugged her. Later, she stole Hu Jiniao's plan. Letting her go to prison for a few years is a big punishment for her. But I don't think Hu Jiniao and I did anything wrong. Su Qinghui sat there and didn't say anything. In fact, he was also quite shocked. Is she crazy? I don't know. Su Qingsang shook her head and said softly, Dad, it's good that you're here. Go see her. Talk to her. Comfort her. Su Qinghui's expression was complicated. Finally, he nodded and said, Okay. They didn't say anything during the meal. After the meal, Su Qingsang knew that normally, she should let Su Qinghui stay at her house. There was a guest room anyway, but she didn't want to. Dad, let me book a room for you. That was why she had brought Su Qinghui to this hotel for a meal. It's okay. I'll book it myself. Su Qinghui glanced at Su Qingsang with a hint of disappointment in his eyes. Su Qingsang saw it, but she didn't intend to invite him. She seemed to understand Hu Jiniao's feelings before. After being hurt by his loved ones for too long, sometimes it really wasn't easy to accept them. Su Qinghui booked a room. Su Qingsang planned to send him back to his room and leave. Dad, rest early. If there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Su Qinghui's lips moved. He wanted Su Qingsang to stay for a while. He wanted to talk to her. However, he couldn't find a position. Su Qingsang's phone rang at this moment. Li Qianxue was sending a video call request. At this time every day, as long as it was convenient for Su Qingsang, she would definitely video call Li Qianxue. Looking at Su Qinghui now, she was a little hesitant, but she still picked up. Mom! As soon as she called her mom, She immediately saw Su Qinghui's eyes suddenly light up. He stared at her phone with a fervent gaze. Su Qingseng slightly turned her body so that Li Qianxue, who was on the other side of the video call, wouldn't see any clues. Qingseng. Li Qianxue noticed at a glance that Su Qingseng wasn't at home or in the hospital. Are you outside? Is it convenient for you to talk? I'm outside. I have something to do. I'll go back later. Su Qingseng noticed that Su Qinghui took a step towards her. She subconsciously took half a step back. Mom, are you still working overtime? Li Qianxue was in her office. It was obvious that she was still working overtime. There's still a little work to be done. I'll go back later. Don't work too late. Su Qingseng knew that Li Qianxue had recently been working on a new project and was actually very busy. Mom, if you're busy, I'll talk to you later. It's okay, Li Qianxue heard a knock on the door before she could hang up. Before she could hang up the phone, the person outside had already come in. I knew it. You're working overtime again. It was a clear male voice that sounded very young. It was too late for Li Qianxue to turn off the video call. The voice had already come in. I brought you dinner. Come, eat before you work. Who let you in? I knocked on the door. You knocked on the door, and I didn't allow you to come in. Li Qianxue stood up and was about to turn off the video call when Su Qingseng saw the man approaching. Get out. Do you hear me? I'm already in, and I'm here to bring you dinner. You don't have to be so cold, do you? Su Qingseng heard the sound of approaching voices. Soon she saw a figure. Is this your daughter? She doesn't look like you. Hi. Hello, I'm you. It was a face that looked quite young and quite handsome. She froze for a moment. Before she could speak, Li Qianxue had already hung up the call. Su Qingseng wanted to ask who that person was, but she didn't say anything. But now she didn't have the chance. The man looked to be in his early 30s. His voice was so casual when he spoke to Li Qianxue. Su Qingseng blinked and thought of an almost impossible thing. That man, could he be her mother's suitor? If that was the case, then it was really too. From the corner of her eye, she saw Su Qinghui, who was still standing in front of her. Su Qingseng restrained the emotions on her face, because she found that Su Qinghui's expression was very ugly. Dad, no matter how wrong the other party was, he was still her father. Su Qingseng took a step forward with concern. Are you okay? Su Qinghui came back to his senses and shook his head stiffly. Dad, I'm fine. Su Qinghui's voice was a little obscure. Go back and rest. It's getting late. Then you. Su Qinghui didn't seem to want to say more. Su Qingseng had nothing to say to him anyway. After saying a few words of concern, she left. Before leaving, she thought of Su Qinghui's pale and shocked face when he heard the man's voice. She suddenly felt that Su Qinghui seemed to be a little pitiful. When she got home, Hua Jinyao hadn't come back yet. She looked at the time. If Li Junxin came back, the group's party wouldn't end so early. She sent a video call request to Li Qianxue. However, the other party rejected it. She had to call instead. It rang for a long time. This time Li Qianxue finally picked up. Qingseng. Li Qianxue's voice sounded a little strange. Su Qingseng couldn't help but be concerned. Mom, are you okay? I'm fine. What could happen to me? I heard that you haven't eaten yet. I've eaten. I've already eaten. Li Qianxue spoke quickly. But Su Qingseng remembered that the man said he would bring her food. Would she be eating the food that the man sent her? Qingseng, I still have some documents to read. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Li Qianxue's voice was a little anxious. The man in front of her had already started to clean up the lunch box on the table. The time it took for Su Qingseng to return home from the hotel was just enough for Li Qianxue to finish dinner. The man smiled at Li Qianxue arrogantly. His mouth moved as if he was about to speak. Li Qianxue glared at the man. Qingseng, I'll hang up first. Oh, okay. Su Qingseng hung up the phone. She was sure of two things. First, that man was most likely still in Li Qianxue's office. Second, that man and Li Qianxue were probably not ordinary people. It could also be Li Qianxue's suitor, or it could be a man that Li Qianxue admired. However, she was not in a hurry. Whether Li Qianxue had a new suitor or Li Qianxue fell in love with someone else. She believed that with her age and experience, she would know what she wanted. She also hoped that Li Qianxue could find happiness again. However, thinking of Su Qinghui's pale face today, Su Qingseng couldn't bear it. Chapter 625. As soon as Hu Jingyao ended the call with Su Qingseng, he met the eyes of the group of people in the private room. TSK. It's really different after getting married. Tang Mohan put one hand on Hu Jingyao's shoulder and poured him a glass of wine with the other hand. You need to report when you come out to play. It was just that they did not have a meal together, but they still stuck to each other for so long. Jingyao, you've really opened my eyes. Isn't that so? Cheng Xianyan chimed in. Look at her glowing face. TSK, as expected, she's different after being nourished by love. Go away. Hu Jingyao smiled and picked up the wine in front of him. Are you jealous? Go get married too. We are not like you, willing to give up a forest for a tree. Be careful, the forest will be gone, and the trees will be gone. Hu Jingyao's words made the others hiss. Only Wan Xianying looked quite upset. Brother Hua, why are you so lucky? Sister-in-law got together with you so easily. Why is sister-in-law's friend so hard to deal with? He was naturally talking about Shi Mengwan. He had traveled thousands of miles to pursue his wife, and he had even gone to France. Shi Mengwan didn't react. Brother, let me give you a piece of advice. Forget about Shi Mengwan. There were many good girls in Rong City. Don't hang yourself on her tree. Hu Jingyao and Su Qingseng were together every day, and Su Qingseng would video call Shi Mengwan from time to time. He more or less knew that Shi Mengwan had someone in her heart. How am I bad? Wan Xianying stood up as he spoke and made Schwarzenegger's signature gesture. Tell me, I have a good figure, a good family background, and a good look. How am I not good enough for her? Last month, he casually went to gamble on a few stones and earned tens of millions. He usually looked sloppy, but everyone in the industry knew that it was just a facade. It has nothing to do with whether she's worthy or not. Hu Jingyao sincerely suggested. I heard from Qingseng that she has someone else in her heart. Don't even think about it. Who is it? Can he beat me? Wan Xianying was unconvinced. Let him come out and fight one-on-one. Forget it. Li Junsheng, who had been silent all this while, spoke up. How do you really like her? It was all because of unwillingness. If she really lets you chase after her, you might lose interest in her immediately. Junsheng, that's not nice of you. Wan Xianying didn't deny it. It was indeed very difficult for Shi Mengwan to pursue him. Who said that I won't cherish him once I get him? Maybe it's because he's had a hard time chasing her. So he's even more interested? Who would believe you? Li Junsheng laughed and scolded. But now that you mention it, I'm a little interested. I want to know what a woman who can make my young master one so worried looks like. Aren't you in Lin City? You should have seen it before, right? No. He was very busy, and he cherished his feathers. He rarely went out to socialize. He had seen Su Qingseng many times, but he had never seen Su Qingseng's friends. If you see her, you might like her too. You think too much. Hu Jingyao answered for Li Junsheng. If you're a playboy, then Junsheng is a cold robot. The only thing he loves the most is his future. Everyone in the private room laughed. Who wouldn't agree? Li Junsheng was already the mayor of a city at such a young age. His results in Lin City for more than a year were quite good. It was estimated that he would be promoted when his next term was up. Women. Li Junsheng smiled. He didn't deny it. However, Hu Jingyao's matter reminded him of another thing. Halfway through the wine, the others ran over to join in the fun. Li Junsheng sat next to Hu Jingyao. Jingyao, you'll know about this sooner or later. I think your great-uncle's family should have heard about it first. But I still decided to let you know. What? I went to City A on a business trip last time. There was a large-scale investment project there. Many local companies wanted to take it, but the plate was too big for them to handle. I think your company can give it a try. City A. Yes. Li Junsheng briefly explained the situation. The preliminary estimate is that the profit is more than 1 billion. How about it? Do you do it or not? If you do it, I'll get someone to send you the information later. Yes. Hua Jingyao picked up the wine and poured it for Li Junxing and himself. Thank you, brother. The bidding and everything are internal. The mayor of City A has some relationship with me. He has a good relationship with your uncle. You can operate it. This project is in the bag. Hua Jingyao raised his glass and clinked glasses with Li Junxing. Thank you. You're welcome. The two of them drank enough. Hua Jingyao looked at the time and was about to leave. This time, it was Li Junxing's turn to object. Jingyao, you're not being kind. Li Junxing asked someone to serve a few more bottles of wine. Let's not talk about the fact that it's rare for me to come back, and you're leaving. You've got the news too. You're going to leave just like that? His voice rose a notch when he said the last sentence. Tang Mohan, Cheng Xianyun, and the others immediately cheered and booed. Brotherly, Su Changlong complained with a look of disdain. You don't know Jingyao. Ever since he got married, he's never spent the night outside. Every time he gets together, he doesn't sit for long and has to leave. He says he wants to go back to accompany his wife. Don't you think that's too much? Too much. That's quite too much. Isn't he clearly bullying us single dogs who don't have wives? Tell me, can you bear it? No. This time, everyone answered together. Hua Jingyao drank a lot today. Hearing this, he was very helpless. What do you want? Simple. Wan Xianying had a smirk on his face. He clapped his hands and pushed the 2 bottles of XO and red wine in the middle of the table in front of Hua Jingyao. Settle these. I'll let you go. Otherwise, you'll stay until the end. Are you crazy? If he drank these 4 bottles, he would have to lie here today. Jingyao, if you're a coward, don't leave today. Don't even think about leaving today. His words were filled with provocation, and his gaze was filled with disdain. Li Junxing watched them play with a faint smile on his face. In the past, there was still Hua Jingyao in Lin City. He told him to meet up when he had nothing to do. Ever since Hua Jingyao returned to Rong City, he was bored there alone. It was rare for him to come back and cause trouble with these people. Hua Jingyao had already gone to get the car keys, but they forced him to sit down again. However, he didn't forget to send a message to Yang Wenchang, asking him to pick him up later. When Hua Jingyao returned home, it was already midnight. Su Qingseng was in a daze when she heard the door open. She quickly got up, put on a coat, and went outside. She took a few glances and saw that the living room was brightly lit. Hua Jingyao was carried into the door by Yang Wenchang and another person she didn't know. Before she got close, she smelled alcohol. Su Qingseng felt uncomfortable. Why is he so drunk? I don't know. Yang Wenchang really didn't know. When he went to pick him up, Hua Jingyao was already almost drunk. Assistant Yang, do me a favor and send him inside. Yang Wenchang helped put Hua Jingyao on the bed. Su Qingseng smelled the strong smell of alcohol and felt even more uncomfortable. However, Yang Wenchang was still there, so she forced herself not to lose her temper. Assistant Yang, you've worked hard. You can go back first. I'm here. Okay. Mrs. Hua, you've worked hard. Let's not go yet. All right, thank you. After sending them off, Su Qingseng closed the door and returned to her room. Hua Jingyao was dead drunk. The man, who had been sleeping soundly just a moment ago, felt uncomfortable because of the smell of alcohol. He stepped forward and looked at Hua Jingyao, resisting the urge to punch him. What was this guy doing? Why did he get so drunk without her? Jingyao. Hua Jingyao. She called him a few times, but he didn't respond at all. Helplessly, she stepped forward and took off his shoes. When she was about to take off his clothes, Hua Jingyao suddenly opened his eyes. He was so drunk that he didn't know where he was, and couldn't even see who was in front of him. Drink. Who said I can't drink? Bring the wine. I'll show you. Drink, drink, drink. I'll just drink you to death. Su Qingseng rarely lost her temper. She slapped Hua Jingyao's hand away with a look of displeasure on her face. The voice was very familiar. Hua Jingyao widened his eyes and looked at the person in front of him. Qingseng? Old woman. Wife. He reached out and hugged Su Qingseng's waist. Su Qingseng fell on Hua Jingyao's body. As soon as she got close, she smelled the smell of alcohol on his body that almost made her faint. It was even more uncomfortable than before. Hua Jingyao, let go of me. She wanted to vomit. Wife, come give me a kiss. Hua Jingyao was drunk. He raised his head and was about to move closer. The smell of alcohol was even stronger now. Su Qingsing couldn't stand it anymore. A wave of nausea welled up in her. Without thinking, she pushed Hua Jingyao away and ran to the bathroom to vomit. Before she had time to rinse her mouth, Hua Jingyao followed her in. He staggered. When he saw the sink, his body leaned forward and he vomited as well. The pungent smell came again. Su Qingsing couldn't stand it anymore and vomited again. It was as if the two of them were competing to see who vomited more. After Hua Jingyao finished vomiting, he looked at Su Qingsing, who was still vomiting, and laughed. Wife, are you also drunk? As he spoke, he tried his best to glare in Su Qingsing's direction. Wife, you don't drink, don't you? Drink your ass. His drunken words made Su Qingsing very angry. When she finally recovered, she saw Hua Jingyao's body slip, and he sat on the ground. His heart was filled with anger. Hua Jingyao, get up. She wanted to pull him up, but the man's body was full of the smell of alcohol. Not only was there the smell of alcohol, but there was also the filth he had vomited. Su Qingsing was furious. After being married to Hua Jingyao for more than a year, it wasn't that he hadn't drunk before, but he had never been as drunk as he was now. She couldn't pull him up, and the smell of alcohol on his body made her feel even more uncomfortable. She was so angry that she didn't want to care about this guy anymore. She glared at Hua Jingyao, who was sober for a long time. In the end, she couldn't bear to go forward and help him up. As soon as Su Qingsing approached Hua Jingyao, she actually wanted to vomit again. The smell on this man was too unpleasant. She wanted to vomit just by smelling it. She resisted the urge to vomit and half-dragged, half-pushed, half-pulled, and half-coaxed Hua Jingyao into the bathtub. She turned on the water and began to turn on the water without testing the temperature. If he was cold, so be it. Let him die of cold. Let's see if he dares to be so drunk next time. Although she thought that, her heart softened in the end. As she took off Hua Jingyao's clothes, she tested the temperature of the water. Hua Jingyao was also cooperative. He raised his hands and feet when he was told to. Su Qingsing spent a long time and finally washed Hua Jingyao clean. She brought him a bath towel and asked him to get up, but the guy didn't move as if he was asleep. Su Qingsing was so angry that she almost laughed. She turned off the water first and ignored this person. She tidied up the bathroom. After cleaning up, she turned back to look at Hua Jingyao. Hua Jingyao, if you want to sleep in this bathtub, I'm leaving. If you want to go back to bed, then get up. There was no response, so Su Qingsing had to pull him again. Fortunately, this time he was more cooperative. She casually wiped his body dry and wrapped him in the bath towel. After Su Qingsing was done, she was so tired that she was about to collapse. She didn't care that her body was still wet. She casually took off her clothes and fell asleep. Su Qingsing was almost late when she went to the hospital. She was so sleepy that she couldn't get up after being tormented by Hua Jingyao for most of the night. When she finally got up, she realized that she was going to be late. She didn't even have time to eat breakfast. She rushed to the department and saw that Director Sun Huiya was already there. She had an outpatient clinic today, and a meeting in the department later. After the outpatient clinic, Su Qingsing only heard about something when she was at the meeting. Sun Huiya had already reached the age of retirement. Although the hospital would hire her again, if she retired, the director of the obstetrics and gynecology department might be the deputy director, Shen Lingyun. It might also be the deputy director, Yang Lu. During dinner, Lance pulled Su Qingsing aside and started gossiping. Tell me, now that Director Sun has retired, will it be Deputy Director Shen or Deputy Director Yang who will take over? Su Qingsing looked at her gossipy face and couldn't help but laugh. No matter who goes up, it won't be us. That's not necessarily true. Ling Fei moved closer and whispered, have you ever thought about it? No matter who was promoted, the position of Deputy Chief Physician would be vacant. Wouldn't everyone have a chance then? Su Qingsing paused for a moment, then quickly shook her head. I don't want to think about it. After all, my seniority is not enough. I don't have enough seniority. but I have the ability to make up for it. Ling Fei blinked. Did you forget about your surgery last month? It was so difficult, but you still managed to overcome it. In my opinion, although you don't have enough seniority, you can still fight for it. Su Qingseng smiled and looked at Ling Fei. You can do it too. Do you want to give it a try? I really want to fight for it. Ling Fei didn't conceal her ambition in the slightest. But I admit that I'm not as good as you in terms of talent. These are the words of Director Sunday. Ling Fei had a good relationship with Su Qingseng, so she made a serious suggestion. Qingseng, I'm serious. You've been in this hospital for more than half a year now. You really don't have enough seniority. But even if you don't have enough seniority this year, it doesn't mean next year. Your professional skills are there. I think you can fight for it. Get the position of deputy chief physician in at least 3 years. It's not impossible. Su Qingseng had picked up a piece of fish to eat, but the fishy smell made her a little uncomfortable. She put down her chopsticks. I don't dare to think about 3 years. 5 years. I'll give myself a deadline of 5 years. I knew it. Ling Fei smiled and blinked at Su Qingseng. Good luck. I have high hopes for you. Su Qingseng put aside the feeling of wanting to vomit because of her words. She began to think seriously. Perhaps 3 years was not impossible. She didn't have enough seniority, but she could improve her professional skills. It wasn't impossible. Su Qingseng took this matter to heart. She was still very grateful for Ling Fei's encouragement. Thank you for your kind words. With that in mind, Su Qingseng forgot about the fact that she was not feeling well. After becoming a doctor, from assistant doctor to attending physician, to deputy chief physician, to chief physician, step by step, Su Qingseng didn't have much ambition, but this kind of promotion process represented an affirmation of her ability. It was worth a gamble. Wu Jinyao went home early that day and found Su Qingseng in the study. Auntie Yu was cooking in the kitchen. Su Qingseng didn't run to the kitchen to see if there was anything she needed help like before. When he woke up this morning, he realized that he seemed to have gone overboard yesterday. He drank too much and was really drunk. He had a rough impression of what happened after that. Before he got drunk, he asked Yang Wenchang to send him home. What happened after that was only a shadow. He knocked on the door of the study, but there was no response. He gently pushed the door open. Su Qingseng was sitting behind the desk. In addition to the notebook in front of her, there was a pile of documents and books beside her. Wife. He took a few steps forward and called again, but found that Su Qingseng didn't respond. Was she angry? Wu Jinyao continued to walk forward. Su Qingseng didn't notice him at all. She stared at the documents in front of her and said softly, "The early stage of cervical cancer in." Wife. Was she really going to ignore him? Was she angry? Su Qingseng looked at the 2 papers in her hand. Some of them were consistent, while others were not. Wife. A pair of big hands suddenly appeared on her waist. Su Qingseng was shocked. She turned around and glared at Wu Jinyao. What are you doing? Wife. Don't be angry. Wu Jinyao took the initiative to admit his mistake. It was my fault yesterday. I shouldn't have been so drunk. Let go of me. She had just thought of a key point and was about to write it down. She went to pull his hand, but Wu Jinyao tightened his grip. Wife. Don't be angry. I promise, there won't be a next time. Wu Jinyao's hands were on her waist, and now he was tightening again. Su Qingseng felt a little uncomfortable in her stomach. Wu Jinyao let go. Did he know that he had interrupted her train of thought? No. Wu Jinyao was thick-skinned enough. He didn't forget how drunk he was yesterday. Wife, don't be angry. He tightened his arms, and Su Qingseng felt even more uncomfortable. The feeling of nausea came one after another. She couldn't help but push Wu Jinyao away, and quickly headed for the bathroom. Wu Jinyao stood there completely stunned. What was going on? Why was she so angry? He chased Su Qingseng into the bathroom. She hadn't had dinner yet, so she couldn't vomit anything. Wife. Was it necessary? Was she so angry that she wanted to vomit whenever he was near her? Su Qingseng really felt uncomfortable. The feeling of vomiting made her very uncomfortable, but she couldn't vomit anything. When he finally calmed down, he patted his chest. Hua Jinyao moved closer again. As soon as he raised his hand, Su Qingseng couldn't stand it anymore. Don't come over. If he hadn't strangled her just now, she wouldn't have felt like vomiting. Wife. It was the first time Hua Jinyao saw Su Qingseng look at him with such an ugly expression. I really know I was wrong. Don't be angry. As he spoke, his hands circled her waist again. Afraid that she would ignore him, he was very nervous. Speaking of which, you can't blame me yesterday. It's all that kid Li Juanxing's fault. He's too bad. He was the one who urged the others to force me to drink. I'm telling you, next time he does this, I'll beat him up. Before Su Qingseng could respond, his hand strangled her, and her stomach began to feel uncomfortable again. She pushed Hua Jinyao away and went to vomit again. This reaction was a big blow to Hua Jinyao. He looked at Su Qingseng with a sad face. Wife, you don't have to do this, do you? Didn't he just drink a little? Why did he have such a big reaction when it came to Su Qingseng? If he remembered correctly, she seemed to have vomited when she smelled the alcohol on him yesterday. Su Qingseng didn't have time to pay attention to him. The nausea had just been suppressed with great difficulty, but now it was even more uncomfortable. She lay there and felt that she was about to vomit. Her face was pale and in pain. Wife. Shut up. She was already uncomfortable, and hearing it made her even more annoyed. Hua Jinyao, who had never been treated so coldly, immediately became listless. This time, Su Qingseng felt uncomfortable for a long time. It wasn't until 10 minutes later that she finally felt better. After rinsing her mouth, she stood up. Seeing Hua Jinyao behind her, she felt extremely annoyed. This was the first time she felt this way. Can you stay away from me? Wife. I feel like vomiting whenever you get close to me. Su Qingseng had vomited 2 or 3 times. She really didn't want to suffer anymore. Hua Jinyao looked at her and took a step forward. Su Qingseng quickly raised her hand. Don't come over. She finally didn't want to vomit. Su Qingseng patted her chest and heard Auntie Yu calling for food. Wash your hands and eat. After saying this, she walked past him to the dining room. When she walked past him, she deliberately turned her body sideways. Wife. Hua Jinyao was hurt by Su Qingseng's actions. Now, he hated Li Juanxing and the others. After the hatred, he felt wronged. He only got drunk once. Did it have to be so exaggerated? He had taken a shower yesterday, and there was no smell of alcohol on him today, okay? Su Qingseng went to the dining room. Auntie Yu had already brought the dishes to the table, and was very considerate to serve them a bowl of soup. Hua Jinyao sat down next to Su Qingseng. Su Qingseng, who was about to drink the soup, suddenly couldn't sit still when she smelled the chicken soup. She stood up abruptly and rushed to the bathroom again. This time, the grievance on Hua Jinyao's face couldn't be tolerated. He subconsciously smelled the smell on his body. It didn't stink. It didn't smell like alcohol either. Why did Su Qingseng treat him like this? Did she do it on purpose? Just because he got drunk once? Why did he feel even more wronged than Dou-yi? Chapter 626. Su Qingseng sat down again. She was really weak. She had vomited for so long and felt terrible. Just as she was about to eat, Hua Jinyao pushed the bowl in front of her. Su Qingseng couldn't stand the smell again. Hua Jinyao's expression seemed to be even more resentful when he saw her reaction. Honey, you can't be like this, right? Su Qingseng glanced at him with a puzzled look. She sat up straight. The smell of the chicken soup was a little farther away from her. She felt better. She met Hua Jinyao's gaze and found that the way he looked at her was, "What's wrong with you?" She had vomited a few times, and when she finally recovered, all she wanted was to eat quietly. Honey. Hua Jinyao lost all confidence. I really know I was wrong. I promise, I won't get drunk again next time. Su Qingseng blinked. After thinking about her path of advancement today, she planned to work hard. Not only did she rush to finish the previous paper, but she also planned to work hard on some materials and books that she would only start reading next month. Therefore, she really didn't take Hua Jinyao's apology to heart. Now that he mentioned it, she remembered. What happened to you yesterday? Why did you drink so much? She wasn't completely angry, but she was a little annoyed that he didn't know how to take care of her body. Honey, Hua Jingyao quickly explained, you really can't blame me. It's that Li Junsheng. He hurt me. He forced me to drink. Su Qingsong's body was still a little uncomfortable. She still felt uncomfortable when she thought of the smell of alcohol on Hua Jingyao's body yesterday. He forced you to drink and you drank? Don't you know that drinking too much is bad for your liver? Honey, I was wrong. All right. He said that he was wrong, but there was no regret in his eyes. He said it straightforwardly, but there was no regret in his eyes. Don't do it again. Honey, I promise. There won't be a next time. After Hua Jingyao said that, he picked up the bowl of soup and put it in front of Su Qingsang. Honey, hurry up and eat. The soup is getting cold. Su Qingsang picked up the bowl of soup and was about to drink it. The feeling of nausea came again, but this time, she knew that she had nothing to vomit. She waved her hand and tilted her face to the side. Her pale face was filled with nausea and discomfort. Hua Jingyao pulled a long face. Wife, Su Qingsang blinked her eyes. After such a long night, she had lost her appetite. She had always been in good health, and had never felt as nauseous as she did now. She had a faint guess in her heart, but before she could confirm it, she couldn't guarantee anything. Patting her chest, she recovered from the uncomfortable situation and glanced at Hua Jingyao. Let's eat. He pushed the bowl of chicken soup away from him. He felt better when he couldn't smell anything. Honey, Hua Jingyao felt really wronged. Don't be angry, okay? I'm not angry, Su Qingsang said. She could roughly guess what kind of state she was in. She didn't have time to argue with Hua Jingyao. Let's eat. Then have a bowl of soup first. Hua Jingyao was about to push the soup to Su Qingsang, but she quickly raised her hand and said, I don't want this soup. Wasn't she still looking down on him? Su Qingsang glared at him. She really didn't have any temper now. Let's eat. She served herself a bowl of rice, although she still didn't want to eat. But if her guess was right, this wasn't the time for her to be willful. Honey, was she really okay? Her stomach was very uncomfortable, and every bite made her feel sick. This made her look very ugly. Hua Jingyao drank the soup while looking at Su Qingsang's face. He had a feeling that a storm was coming. Su Qingsang forced herself to eat a bowl of rice. She really couldn't eat anymore. She hurriedly put down the bowl and wanted to vomit again. Hua Jingyao saw that she didn't eat much at all. She ate less than half of her usual amount. He stood up as well. Honey. As soon as he got close, Su Qingsang couldn't stand it anymore. The feeling of vomiting couldn't be suppressed at all. She hurriedly ran to the bathroom and vomited as much as she had eaten just now. Hua Jinyao's eyes widened as he looked at Su Qingsang's behavior. He was completely dumbfounded. What was going on? After Su Qingsang finished vomiting, she had no appetite to eat anymore. She looked at Hua Jingyao and wasn't in the mood to pay attention to him. After nearly an hour of torment, her legs were now weak. As an obstetrician and gynecologist, she knew that if her guess was true, then these reactions were normal. However, she was a little distressed. According to the month, it was still early. She was already torturing herself like this. She didn't know what would happen in the future. Honey, Qingsang? Hua Jingyao followed behind Su Qingsang and watched her rinse her mouth before going to the room. He didn't do anything else and directly lay down on the bed. Go away. She hadn't recovered from the discomfort yet. If he came over again, she couldn't guarantee that she would vomit all over him. Honey, Hua Jingyao really felt wrong to the extreme. What on earth do you want to do to not be angry? I said go away. Su Qingsang didn't want to lose her temper, but she was a little annoyed. Before, she thought that it would be good to have a child. But now that she might really have one, she had a headache. She had seen many pregnant women with severe morning sickness. If she was also that kind, how would she spend the next few months? Honey. Her brows were furrowed so tightly that a mosquito could be squeezed to death. Hua Jingyao reached out to smooth it for her. She had vomited like that. How could he not be worried? Do you have nothing to do? Su Qingsang was extremely uncomfortable. She really didn't want to hear Hua Jingyao apologize, promise, or say that he was drunk yesterday. I want to rest for a while. Can you go and clean up the bowls outside? I'm worried about you. Hua Jinyao looked at her and reached out to touch her forehead. Su Qingseng avoided his hand. I'm fine. I just want to sleep for a while. Can you go out now? Don't disturb me and let me sleep for a while? Was he being despised? Hua Jinyao watched Su Qingseng turn over and lie down, completely ignoring him. He felt like he had suffered a huge blow in his heart. This kind of blow lasted until he was about to sleep at night. Su Qingseng rested for a while and felt a little more comfortable. She even got up and made herself a bowl of noodles. After eating the noodles, she went to the study to sort out the rest of the documents. When she returned to the room, she found that Hua Jinyao's expression was still very sad. Su Qingseng ignored him. It was rare that she didn't feel nauseous or uncomfortable. She went to take a shower and prepared to go to bed early. Tomorrow, she would go to the hospital for a checkup. She would see how the situation was. If she really had a child, she would have to be more careful in the first few months. During this period of time, she had been focusing on her thesis. During the following exams, she occasionally felt tired and thought that she was tired. She didn't expect that it might be because she was pregnant. She was in a good mood. When she lay down again, she took out her phone and scrolled through Weibo. At that moment, Hua Jinyao's hand reached over. Su Qingseng slapped his hand away without thinking. Don't move. Yesterday was really my fault. Honey, I also promised. Can you not ignore me? Hua Jinyao, stop it. Honey, Hua Jinyao was really going crazy. Can you just tell me how long you're going to be angry for? Su Qingseng looked at his pitiful look and burst into laughter. She was a little helpless. All right, I'll just be angry for today. If there's anything else, we'll talk about it tomorrow. He would talk about it after she finished the checkup and knew the results. Huh? Hua Jinyao was dumbfounded. Su Qingseng was afraid that he would not take it seriously, so she looked at him with a serious face. Hua Jinyao, I'm really not in the mood today, so please stay away from me. If he put his hand on her waist again, she was afraid that she would vomit again. Honey, Hua Jinyao was really going to reach out. I just want to hug you. I won't do anything bad. Can't I? No. Su Qingseng was very straightforward. If you hug me, I will feel like vomiting. If he hadn't squeezed her stomach just now, she wouldn't have had such a big reaction. Hua Jinyao's face immediately darkened. Looking at Su Qingseng, who had already closed her eyes and started to sleep, he felt that his heart was shrouded by a large dark cloud. He had only been drunk once, and she had to do this to him? Wasn't this punishment too severe? Honey, you don't have to go that far, do you? Can't I just hug you to sleep? No. Honey, don't be noisy. If you continue to be noisy, you can sleep on the sofa or in the guest room. Su Qingseng reached out a finger to stop him from approaching. Or, do you want to sleep on the sofa? I'll sleep here. Hua Jinyao stepped back a little and fell asleep unwillingly. It was rare for Su Qingseng to sleep so soundly. When she woke up in the morning, she was in good spirits. When she brushed her teeth, she felt a little nauseous, but she forced herself to suppress it. She was a doctor herself, so she knew what was best for her body. When she went outside, Hua Jinyao was already gone. She didn't know if he had gone to work. Su Qingseng didn't have time to care about him now. She was in a hurry to go to the hospital for a checkup. She also needed to start taking extra folic acid and calcium. Su Qingseng thought about some things to take note of in the early stages of pregnancy, then went to the hospital. First, she took out the pregnancy test paper and checked it. The 2 bars on it showed that she was indeed pregnant. She began to recall when she last had her period. If she remembered correctly, it seemed that she had only come once after coming back from Sea City. After that, she hadn't come again for more than a month. According to this calculation, she was about 7 to 8 weeks pregnant. The specific situation would be known after she took the ultrasound. The colleague on duty in the ultrasound room at noon was a new girl. Not long after she arrived, Su Qingseng lay on it and waited for the image to appear on the screen. Dr. Su, you're pregnant. The little girl looked even more excited than Su Qingseng. 8 weeks of intrauterine pregnancy. The fetal heart is normal. Dr. Su, your baby is very healthy. Su Qingseng smiled. The little girl was surprised and pointed in the direction of the screen. Dr. Su, look at this. What? Su Qingsang's gaze followed the screen. The little girl looked excited. Are there 2 embryonic sacs? Why do I think there are 2 fetal sacs? Su Qingsang blinked and sat up. She naturally understood what 2 fetal sacs meant. Dr. Su, you're so lucky. The little girl's eyes lit up. You're actually pregnant with twins. Su Qingsang knew that she was pregnant yesterday, but now that she suddenly found out that she was pregnant with twins, she still couldn't calm down. How was that possible? Whether it was her family or Hu Jinyao's side, there seemed to be no precedent of twins. No, the aunt from Hu Jinyao's great aunt's family gave birth to a pair of twins. Su Qingsang sat up and placed her hand on her abdomen. It felt very magical. She had delivered many women and examined many pregnant women's bodies. She had also delivered twins herself. However, she didn't expect that one day she would be pregnant with twins. It was really magical. Congratulations, congratulations. Dr. Su, you're so lucky. The little girl congratulated her again. Su Qingsang was a little embarrassed, but she felt more happy. Thank you. Dr. Su, when the baby is born, you have to treat us to a meal. Definitely. Su Qingsang got up and wanted to leave. Looking at the little girl, she instructed. Dr. Chun, can you not tell me about my pregnancy for the time being? It's a secret, isn't it? You can't tell me before 3 months. I know. The little girl smiled and nodded. Su Qingsang smiled at her gratefully. Then she went back to her office. She didn't have an outpatient clinic this morning. However, there was a minor surgery in the afternoon. Su Qingsang placed her hand on her abdomen. She began to think about whether she should take leave to rest now or work until the 3rd trimester. She wasn't a very delicate woman. As an obstetrician and gynecologist, her body was much healthier and stronger than that of ordinary women. She still wanted to rise up. She still had to submit the thesis in her hand. And there was also the matter of the certification. Su Qingsang didn't think for too long. When the next pregnant woman, who was suddenly sent in needed treatment, she had already made up her mind. She continued to work. When she changed into her surgical gown, she looked at her abdomen. Baby, I think you will understand your mother's work and stay in my stomach, right? Su Qingsang didn't have much time to think about other problems. There was a fire today, and several burn patients were sent over. One of them was a pregnant woman. When she was sent over, the situation was very critical. Su Qingsang, Sun Huiya, and Shun Lingyun threw themselves into the rescue of the pregnant woman. The degree of burns on the pregnant woman was as high as 30%. However, the child was less than 6 months old. The pregnant woman was very strong. She was afraid that she would hurt the child, so she refused to be anesthetized. Su Qingsang and Sun Huiya couldn't bear to do it. Fortunately, the pregnant woman fainted on her own. Only then were they able to successfully carry out the treatment. The whole process lasted for nearly 5 hours. When Su Qingsang came out of the operating room, the sky had already darkened. She hadn't eaten anything since noon. After coming out of the hospital, Su Qingsang felt tired again. She was really tired. Anyone would feel tired after standing on the operating table for 4 to 5 hours. Not to mention that she was pregnant. Now that she was tired and hungry, she began to think that maybe she should eat something appetizer tonight. Also, she thought about telling Hu Jinyao the news. What would his reaction be if he knew? Would he be happy? Or excited? Or would he be something else that she couldn't think of? She was still thinking about how to say it to be more surprising. But as soon as she walked out of the hospital, she was shocked. When she saw the man standing on the side of the road in front of the hospital, with an extremely flashy red sports car parked behind him, and a large bouquet of red roses in his hand, Su Qingsang thought that her eyes were playing tricks on her. Hu Jinyao took a few steps forward and walked in front of Su Qingsang. He handed the flowers in his hand to her. Honey, this is for you. Su Qingsang looked at the large bouquet of roses, then at Hu Jinyao. She blinked. What day is it today? Honey. Hu Jinyao smiled and walked forward, gently putting his arm around her shoulder. It's not a special day. I just wanted to give you flowers. There seemed to be at least 99 roses in the large bouquet. In the middle was a heart shape made of pink roses. It was beautiful, very beautiful. However, honey, I asked Yang Wenchang to make a reservation. Let's go out for dinner. Su Qingsing looked at Hu Jinniao, and in the end, she was half pulled and half hugged by him into his car. After getting into the car, Su Qingsing looked at the interior of the car and turned to Hu Jinniao. Is this a new car? At least she hadn't seen this car in the Hu family's garage. Yes, I just bought it. Do you like it? Honey, it's okay. She didn't have any special requirements for cars, and the car she was driving now was quite good. It's for you. Such generosity made Su Qingsing lean back. Hu Jinniao, what's wrong with you today? It's nothing. I just suddenly realized that I should treat you better, honey. Su Qingsing looked at him suspiciously. The first thought that came to her mind was, did he know that she was pregnant? But his reaction didn't seem like it. If Hu Jinniao knew, how could he be so calm? The car stopped in front of a very famous building. Before they entered the door, a waiter came over to show them the way. Su Qingsing and Hu Jinniao entered the building and went straight to the top floor. It was located in the center of Rong City. From this angle, they could see the nearby streets clearly. Among them were the places that Su Qingsing and Li Qianxue had been to when they came to Rong City. They walked to a seat by the window, and Hu Jinniao very considerately pulled out a chair for Su Qingsing. Honey, sit down. Su Qingsing became more and more suspicious of his attentive behavior. She watched as Hu Jinniao sat down opposite her and called for the waiter. A bottle of wine. As soon as he said the word wine, Hu Jinniao remembered why he had been ignored by Su Qingsing for the whole night. He immediately changed his words. Juice, juice. You can't drink now. His actions confirmed Su Qingsing's guess. She couldn't help but wonder if the newcomer had sold her out. The last time she was taken away by the police, Hu Jinniao was extremely anxious. Later, he went to the hospital and asked for the phone numbers of all her colleagues in the hospital. He also gave them a copy of his phone numbers. This meant that if anything happened to Su Qingsing in the future, they could call him immediately. Thinking of this, she felt that it was meaningless at all. She blamed the new girl in her heart. Shouldn't it be better for her to tell Hu Jinniao about this kind of thing? You know all about it? Hu Jinniao was ordering dishes. Seeing Su Qingsing's expression, he nodded. How could he not know? One drink, and he was given the cold shoulder for a whole day. If he drank again, he might not be able to go to bed for a week. I know, of course I know. He had promised yesterday, but Su Qingsing still wouldn't let him go. For the first time, Hu Jinniao realized that Su Qingsing could be petty. Do you know half of it or all of it? If he knew that she was pregnant, did he know that she was pregnant with twins? Su Qingsing's expression was a little strange. If he knew everything, his reaction was really too calm. Of course I know everything. Hu Jinniao wanted to surrender. Honey, can we not talk about this for now? Su Qingsing's lips were pursed into a straight line. The joy of being pregnant with twins was gone. Looking at Hu Jinniao's reaction, she suddenly thought of something. In the past year or so, Hu Jinniao had almost always taken precautions. And those few times were also because she had repeatedly requested for him to do so. Not to mention the last time she lost control on the sofa. Hu Jinniao refused to give her a chance again. An extremely terrifying thought flashed through her mind. Hu Jinniao did this today. Could it be that he didn't want this child at all? Her expression was too serious, and Hu Jinniao thought that she was still angry. He quickly finished ordering and poured Su Qingsing a glass of juice. All right, honey, if you have anything to say, let's talk after dinner, okay? Su Qingsing glared at Hu Jinniao. Talk after dinner? Hu Jinniao, just say it now. What are you thinking? What do you mean? What do you think about this matter? Hu Jinniao's expression was a little strange. It wasn't over yet? Honey, haven't I already made my stance clear? Make it clear. Do you want it or not? Want what? Don't want what? Hu Jinniao looked at Su Qingsing's serious face. Thinking of what she said yesterday about letting him sleep on the sofa, he quickly shook his head. No, of course not. He already knew his mistake. Of course, he couldn't accept such an inhumane punishment. Su Qingsing looked at Hu Jinniao for a long time and finally understood. The roses, the sports car, and today's meal were all preludes. So that he didn't want children. She was so angry that she stood up in a hurry. Honey. Hua Jingyao was shocked by her action. What are you doing? Hua Jingyao. Su Qingsang had always thought that he didn't want children, but she didn't expect Hua Jingyao to have such an attitude. Since you don't want them, then I have nothing to say to you. Chapter 627. Hua Jingyao's reaction was a little big. Su Qingsang frowned. She began to feel that something was wrong. You're pregnant, you're pregnant. Oh my god. Hua Jingyao unconsciously tightened his grip. He looked at Su Qingsang with shock and disbelief in his eyes. Honey, you're pregnant? Qingsang, you're pregnant. 8 weeks, how long is 8 weeks? Did you just find out today? Or did you already know? Su Qingsang crossed her arms in front of her chest. She couldn't understand Hua Jingyao's incoherent reaction. I just found out today. Hua Jingyao blinked and looked at the words 8 weeks pregnant. He suddenly picked Su Qingsang up and spun her around. Although it was past dinner time, there were still many people in the restaurant. Feeling the gazes of the people nearby, Su Qingsang quickly patted Hua Jingyao on the shoulder. Hua Jingyao, put me down. No. Hua Jingyao hugged Su Qingsang tightly and shook his head. I won't let go. Honey, you're pregnant. You're actually pregnant. Hua Jingyao, be careful. Put me down, do you hear me? This low shout made Hua Jingyao react. He put Su Qingsang down very gently. After letting go, he took a big step back and looked Su Qingsang up and down with obvious surprise in his eyes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so happy. As he spoke, he leaned over and kissed Su Qingsang on the lips. Su Qingsang looked at Hua Jingyao's actions and blinked. Hua Jingyao. Come. Sit down, honey. Hua Jingyao helped Su Qingsang sit down on the chair. As if he was treating a porcelain doll. Su Qingsang sat down and wanted to say something, but Hua Jingyao didn't give her a chance. Honey, you're pregnant? 2 months. Tell me, what should I pay attention to? Hua Jingyao. She didn't understand his reaction. Didn't he know before? No, wait a minute. Hua Jingyao took out his phone and turned on the recording function. He looked at Su Qingsang and said, Come tell me. I'll record it. Su Qingsang was a little speechless. Was such a silly husband his? Hua Jingyao. Tell me. I'm listening. Su Qingsang turned off his phone and put it aside. She stared at Hua Jingyao's face with her clear eyes. You drove a sports car and gave me roses today. Isn't it because you know that I'm pregnant? I don't know. Hua Jingyao slapped his forehead. He seemed to realize that Su Qingsang had misunderstood him. Honey, how can you think of me like that? Can't I be nice to you for no reason? Unaccountably solicitous. She didn't say the second half of the sentence, but she believed that Hua Jingyao understood. Wife, Su Qingsang lowered her head. She had been too petty today. You said no just now. I said I don't want to sleep on the sofa. Hua Jingyao took her hand and said sincerely, Honey, I know I was wrong about getting drunk the day before yesterday. Can't you forgive me just this once? Su Qingsang nodded. She finally understood that she had made a mistake. Of course, Hua Jingyao wasn't much better. So today you brought me a sports car, roses, and a candlelight dinner just to apologize for getting drunk? Honey, don't make it sound so bad. Didn't I already apologize yesterday? Can't you just let me treat you well? His eyes were quite sincere. Su Qingsang couldn't help but laugh. Looking at him, who was half squatting beside her, she gently patted him. Get up and sit down. Why are you squatting here? There were still others here. Honey. Hua Jingyao finally calmed down from the excitement he had just experienced. He looked at Su Qingsang and scratched his head. Are you really pregnant? Yes. Su Qingsang nodded. I got it after I came back from Lin City. They didn't use protection twice. It was probably at that time. I'm going to be a father? Yes. Su Qingsang didn't know if it was her imagination, but she felt that Hua Jingyao was a little silly today. Hua Jingyao's next move was even more silly. He stared at her stomach and carefully reached out his hand. Can I touch it? Su Qingsang found it a little funny. In principle, it's not even the size of an egg. You can't feel anything even if you touch it. I know. I just want to touch it. Hua Jingyao rubbed his hands nervously with a very sincere expression. He raised his hands and gently placed them on Su Qingsang's stomach. It was still flat, and there was nothing there. He looked up at Su Qingsang. That's it. This time Su Qingsang really couldn't help it. Hua Jingyao, that's enough. It hasn't even been 2 months. Hua Jingyao didn't withdraw his hand. He pressed his face against Su Qingsang's stomach. There was no awkwardness or embarrassment on his face because of Su Qingsang's mockery. I don't care. I think he should know. He moved back a little and looked at Su Qingsang's stomach very seriously. Hey, hello. I'm your father. Su Qingsang looked at his silly face and wanted to laugh, but she also wanted to cry. She had always thought that he didn't like children, but she didn't expect his reaction to make her feel very warm and a little touched. There was no response, so Hua Jingyao said it again. Hello, baby. I'm your father. So silly. Su Qingsang pinched his nose and didn't forget to correct the mistake in his words. It's not you, it's you guys. You guys? Hua Jingyao looked up at her with a blank expression. What you guys? It's you guys. Didn't he see it just now? Su Qingsang picked up the checklist and pointed at one of the lines. Do you see it? 2 fetal sacs. What do you mean? Hua Jingyao didn't understand. Su Qingsang was now very sure that Hua Jingyao was dumbfounded by the surprise of becoming a father. His IQ was completely off the charts. Dear Mr. Hua, it's not you, it's you guys. That means here, it's not 1, it's 2. 2. Hua Jingyao was like a repeater. Yes. 2. Wife. Hua Jingyao. Su Qingsang looked at his dumbfounded expression and wondered if she should take a picture of him like this. And then take it out to laugh at him a few years later? Don't you understand? Twins. 2. Twins? Hua Jingyao's mouth was wide open. He had only seen 8 weeks of pregnancy just now, so he hadn't had time to digest Su Qingsang's words. He looked at Su Qingsang, then at the checklist, and then at Su Qingsang's stomach. He suddenly took a big step back. Ah, you mean wife, you mean? He pointed at Su Qingsang's stomach, as if he had seen something strange. So silly. Su Qingsang looked at Hua Jingyao's silly expression, lowered her head, and touched her stomach. Babies, you're so pitiful. Your father has already become silly. Ah. Hua Jingyao had lived for more than 30 years, and he had never lost control like this. He was completely incoherent at this point. He raised his hands with a very complicated expression. He muttered, "Oh my God, oh my God." He paced back and forth on the spot. That movement was so big that it had already attracted the attention of the other people in the restaurant. Su Qingsang was extremely embarrassed by his actions. She got up, grabbed his hand, dragged him to sit down beside her, and held his body down. Hua Jingyao, that's enough. Calm down. How can I calm down? Hua Jingyao felt his heart beating fast. Twins? Wife? You have twins here? Oh my God. I'm actually going to have 2 children. Oh my God. He couldn't calm down at all. He stood up. Su Qingsang pressed his body back down, and he stood up again. He suddenly picked up the phone on the table. Before Su Qingsang could stop him, his phone had already been unplugged. Uncle Cheng? Let Grandpa answer the phone. Grandpa is upstairs. Mom. It's me. Yes. Qingsang is pregnant. Yes. You're going to be a grandmother. Grandpa is going to be a great-grandfather. Yes. Qingsang is pregnant. Yes. Pregnant. Mom, let me tell you, Qingsang is pregnant with twins. You know about twins, right? Our family has never had twins. Qingsang is pregnant. His voice wasn't loud, but after the commotion just now, many people nearby looked over. Su Qingsang covered her face, feeling that she had no face to look at other people. She looked at Hua Jingyao like a repeater. She kept repeating those 2 sentences. Qingsang is pregnant. It's twins. After hanging up the phone with the Hua family, Hua Jingyao felt that it wasn't enough, so he began to call other people. Junsheng, I'll tell you. My wife is pregnant. Yes. Qingsang is pregnant. Twins. Ha 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 ha. Twins. You know, right? My wife is pregnant with twins. Mohan? I'll tell you. Qingsang is pregnant. Qingsang, yes, my wife. Ha ha ha. Sorry, let me laugh for a while. I'm so happy. Yes. She is pregnant. Yes. I'm going to be a father. I'm going to be a father of 2 children. Ha ha ha. I'm amazing, right? Yes. That's it. My wife is pregnant with twins. Ha 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 ha. Xianyan? Ha 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 ha. I'm so happy. Let me tell you a piece of good news. Xianying. Xianying, let me tell you. Ha 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 ha, I can't. I'm too happy. Su Qingsang buried her face in the table and felt the gazes from all directions. She decided that she would never come to this restaurant again. Finally, Hua Jinyao finished making the phone call and finished showing off. He couldn't hide the pride on his face. To him, the gazes around him weren't worth mentioning at all. They were all jealous. These people were jealous. Wife, I'm so happy. Su Qingsang didn't want to talk to him anymore. The dishes had already been served. She glanced at Hua Jinyao and asked, Are you eating? Of course. Hua Jinyao put his phone aside. I'll call after I finish eating. Seeing the hidden disdain in Su Qingsang's eyes, he changed the topic. Wife, let's eat. Well, right. What do you need to eat at this time? Nutritious? Or light? There's nothing here that you can't eat, right? If there is, you have to tell me. Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang interrupted his chatter. Can I make a request? Go ahead. He would agree even if it was 10, let alone 1. Now, shut up and let me eat in peace. Can I? Hua Jinyao blinked and was about to speak when Su Qingsang raised her index finger. Quiet. I want to eat. Hua Jinyao, who was despised by his wife, wasn't angry at all. He supported his chin with one hand and watched Su Qingsang eat. Su Qingsang felt uncomfortable under his gaze. What are you doing? Wife, I find you so beautiful. Thank you, I got it. Are you ready to eat? Hua Jinyao began to eat. But as soon as he picked up the knife and fork, he remembered something else. Wife, can you eat Western food? This salad seems to be cold. Do you want me to help you? Hua Jinyao, be quiet. Oh. Hua Jinyao cut a piece of steak and thought of something else. Wife, do you think they will fight in your stomach? Hua Jinyao, do you want me to remind you that they are still fetal sac? Fight. Did he think she was pregnant with Neza? Oh. Hua Jinyao swallowed the steak and thought of another thing. Wife, do you think they are boys or girls? I don't know. Su Qingsang took a deep breath, raised her head, and glared at Hua Jinyao. Her eyes were as sharp as knives. Be quiet. Hua Jinyao felt wronged and shut up, but he had other questions to ask. As soon as his lips moved, Su Qingsang's sharp eyes flew over again. He had no choice but to lower his head and continue eating. If someone didn't know what was going on, they would think that she was bullying him. Su Qingsang's hand that was holding the knife and fork tightened, and she secretly reminded herself. Don't be angry, please don't be angry. You are pregnant. You have to be happy. However, she was so stimulated by Hua Jinyao's silly actions that she forgot about the morning sickness. The meal went smoothly. At least she didn't feel nauseous. After the meal, when Hua Jinyao went to pay the bill, he was told that it was free. The owner of the restaurant knew Hua Jinyao. He had made such a big move just now, so the owner knew. Congratulations, Hua Xiao. Today's meal is on me. Come to our restaurant next time if you have the chance. Thank you. I'll come again next time. Hua Jinyao was in a good mood. He put his arm around her and walked outside. From the moment they got into the car, the smile on Hua Jinyao's face never disappeared. Su Qingsang couldn't stand his silly look. She turned her face to look at the night view of Rome City outside the car window and chose not to look at him. She found that Hua Jinyao was driving very slowly. She couldn't help but glance at him. Yes, less than 20 yards. Hua Jinyao, you're driving a sports car, aren't you? I know. The corners of Hua Jinyao's lips curled up. But I can't drive too fast now. Su Qingsang held her forehead and looked at the cars that overtook her one after another. From time to time, the drivers would glance at her as if she was a retard. She lowered her head and decided to play dead. It took them twice as long as usual to get home. As soon as Su Qingsang and Hua Jinyao got out of the elevator, they saw 3 people standing outside the elevator. Hua Mingguang, Lu Tongjia, and Old Master Hua. Grandpa, Dad, Mom, Grandpa, Dad, Auntie. Su Qingsang was shocked by this lineup. She looked at the time. They rushed over almost as soon as Hu Jingyao called. "You're back." Old Master Hu was the first to speak. When he spoke, he looked at Su Qingsang's stomach. Hu Mingguang and his wife were the same. However, Su Qingsang was holding a large bouquet of roses in her hand, which blocked their line of sight. Even so, Su Qingsang still felt uncomfortable. She couldn't help but glare at Hu Jingyao. It was all his fault. Making such a big noise. Lu Tongjia looked at Su Qingsang and said in an unusually gentle tone, "How is it? Do you feel uncomfortable anywhere?" Su Qingsang shook her head. Hu Jingyao opened the door and let them in. The group of people entered the room. Lu Tongjia watched Hu Jingyao take the rose from Su Qingsang's hand and carefully help Su Qingsang sit down. Su Qingsang felt that it was an exaggeration and a little awkward. She was not used to Hu Jinyao's action when all the elders were present. However, Hu Jingyao didn't think so, and neither did Lu Tongjia. "How can we go out to eat? Isn't that unhygienic? Is Auntie Yu's cooking not good? How about I ask Aunt Zhou to come over and make soup for you every day?" No, Hu Mingguang objected. "Aunt Zhou's cooking is good, but she doesn't have a dietitian license. If you want me to hire a nutritionist," he hired another chef. "Come with it every day." "That's good." Old Master Hu agreed. "Hire a nutritionist and a chef. Oh right, assign a driver to Qingsang as well. Qingsang, you don't have to drive to work anymore." "Why would I still need to work?" Lu Tongjia looked at Su Qingsang's belly. "They have a lot of things to do in the hospital. In my opinion, don't go to work. Just stay at home." Yes. Hu Mingguang nodded. "That was a good idea. I think you should rest at home and move back. It'll be convenient for your mother to take care of you." Okay. Hu Jingyao listened to the elders' suggestions and felt that it was a good idea. "I don't have any experience taking care of pregnant women." "That's good." "That's right. Then it's decided." The three elders spoke one after another. However, Hu Jingyao seemed to agree with them. The corners of Su Qingsang's mouth twitched. While they were discussing enthusiastically, she spoke in a somewhat disappointing manner. "I'm sorry. I don't plan on not going to work. You can still stay at home." Lu Tongjia was halfway through her sentence when she suddenly turned to look at Su Qingsang. "What did you say?" "I said I don't plan on not going to work." Su Qingsang was very persistent on this matter. "I'm in good health. There's nothing wrong with me. Besides, I'm a doctor. I know how to take care of myself. Also, if I don't go to work and stay at home every day, it might not be a good thing for the child's development." The three elders and Hu Jingyao were silent. They looked at each other and finally looked at Su Qingsang. Hu Jingyao's brows were tightly knitted. "Qingsang, this isn't an ordinary pregnancy. You're pregnant with twins." "I know. Our hospital has even delivered quintuplets before." Su Qingsang said. "That pregnant woman didn't rest all the time. Of course later on, because the belly was too big and there were too many fetuses, she had to be hospitalized." There was silence. Old Master Hu looked at Su Qingsang with a hint of disapproval in his eyes. "Qingsang, I think Jingyao makes sense. I think what Jingyao said makes sense. This isn't an ordinary pregnancy. You're pregnant with twins. It's different." "There's nothing different. It was just one more in her belly. To her, there was no difference." "Grandpa, don't worry. I'm in good health. Besides, I'm an obstetrician and gynecologist myself. I'll take good care of myself. Don't worry." Su Qingsang was a very assertive person. Since she had already made up her mind, no one could persuade her. The elders looked at each other. They probably didn't expect Su Qingsang to be so determined. In the end, everyone looked at Hu Jingyao. "Dad, Mom, Grandpa, it's getting late now. Why don't you go back and rest first? Why don't we talk tomorrow?" Hu Jingyao wanted to persuade Su Qingsang after they grew up. However, Old Master Hu was hesitant. In his opinion, Su Qingsang naturally lived back in the old mansion. It was best if someone took care of her. In the end, Hu Jingyao finally succeeded in persuading the elders to let them go back first. After sending the elders away, Hu Jingyao turned around and saw that Su Qingsang was no longer in the living room. Hu Jingyao thought that she had gone back to her room, but in the end he found her in the study. "Honey." Hu Jingyao went up nervously. I heard that computers have radiation. You should stop working, right? The Earth has a large magnetic field, and it has radiation. Su Qingsang still had some papers to finish yesterday, and there were still some materials to sort out. Honey, Hua Jinyao squeezed into her chair and sat down with her. You're already pregnant. You don't have to work so hard. As for the thesis and the test, we can talk about it later. Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang was squeezed to the point that there was no room for her. Hua Jinyao simply picked her up and let her sit on his lap. She patted his arm helplessly. First of all, I'm a doctor, and I'm an obstetrician. I know better than you what I can and can't do. Second of all, it's not even 3 months yet. As I said, it's only 2 fetal sacs. Even if they're a little older, the right amount of exercise will make it easier for me to give birth. Do you understand? So please don't be so nervous. I'll say it again. I'm a doctor. After Su Qingsang finished speaking, she didn't have the patience to talk to him anymore. All right, you can go out now. Let me finish my work, okay? Hua Jinyao. Su Qingsang didn't expect that the whole hospital would know that she was pregnant the next day. Yesterday, Hua Jinyao had waited for her at the entrance of the hospital. Many people had seen it, and some had even taken photos and posted them on the hospital's internal forum. All the colleagues in the hospital knew that Su Qingsang was married well. Not to mention anything else, Hua Jinyao had come to the hospital a few times. He had been on TV and was a celebrity in Rong City. The moment he did that yesterday, the little girl in the ultrasound room started gossiping on the forum. Su Qingsang was pregnant, and they were twins. So, Hua Jinyao did that yesterday to celebrate his wife's pregnancy. When Su Qingsang entered the hospital, she received envious gazes from all her colleagues and endless blessings. It made her feel embarrassed. When she entered the office, Sun Huya also came over. She congratulated her repeatedly. She said that no obstetrician in the hospital had ever given birth to twins. She was the first. Su Qingsang felt like she was surrounded by people the whole day. That feeling was really not something she was used to. Surrounded by a group of colleagues to congratulate her, she took the initiative to treat them to dinner tonight. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.